What's up with it? GLA $$ E-Shot. That's right, Glasses Malone. You already know, man. Check a real one out. The Bootleg Kev Podcast. I'm over here listening to Kev talk shit. Feel me? Bullshitting. He don't want to admit some of that Lil Nas X shit is corny. It's corny, but check me out, man. Bootleg Kev Show.
Yo, man, Bootleg Kev Podcast, special guest in here. This guy is supposed to have been on the show a bunch of times. My guy, G Malone, Glasses Malone is here.
What's up with it, Kev?
Welcome, man.
Man, thank you for having me. I'm just looking at all these plaques and shit. Plaques galore.
Yo, you launched your podcast finally.
Yeah.
Which I think had been something that was long overdue. Because every time you do an interview, every time you have very, very polarizing opinions. I'm not saying they're wrong or right, they're opinions. So, you know, but I think I'm glad. Did Charlamagne have a lot to do with?
It's all Charlamagne.
Convincing you to do it.
Did it. Yeah, I would have never did it. I never would have did it.
What was like the deciding factor where you're like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do this podcast?
Just trusting somebody that's a friend.
Yeah.
C is the homie. You know what I mean? And he's giving me pretty good advice up to this point if I asked him. He's always been honest and sincere. So when he came to me, I was like, I just can't keep telling him no. Like, I'll try it. Let's go.
How's it going?
It's just getting good to me now. We about 24 conversations in, so
right.
It's starting to make sense. I think I did my favorite one the other day. It was about COVID, and I talked to this doctor that's dealt with like somewhere near, I think his number was over 2,000 patients.
Of COVID?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like just so many, and he was saying to us just different ideas. So it was really it was very much a polarizing conversation. It was about, like, we talked about the vaccine and the confusions in the black community, and he understood, and he started explaining what the vaccine was about, different ideas, and it was good. So I thought it was dope.
Are you vaccinated?
No.
Do you plan on getting vaccinated?
Yes.
So that's something that you're open to, and because you brought up the black community and the vaccine, because it feels like they're the two biggest points of the population that aren't getting vaccinated are like the really hardcore right wing people, and then a lot of the African American community. When you look at the numbers, what do you think is like the disconnect or the misinformation and I'm not saying that the vaccine is like a shoe-in. Like, I think people should do whatever the fuck they want to their own body. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the idea of forcing anyone to do anything. I think you should get it. It's a good idea. But I definitely am against any sort of like mandate. Because at the end of the day, we're still in America, and there's some shit that's getting put on.
Supposed to be a free country.
You know what I'm saying? But what are your thoughts on the whole shit, man? Like with COVID and the vaccine and all that?
Right-wing America and black America just are the two biggest groups that don't trust the government. I don't know why right-wing America doesn't,
Because everything's been good. The government does so much good for them over the last
ideally, I would like to believe. So I understand our concern, it ain't necessarily like it's been made that you want to help us live.
Right.
So it's always that confusion. And they just did a bad job with handling it. And I can't knock them because I'm not saying I would have did a better one. It did just kind of happen fast.
Nobody was planning this shit. Yeah.
So you making 1,000 adjustments on the swing, and it was just so much misinformation the whole time. It was just like bad decisions. Like, you close down everybody's businesses, but then you open Walmart, which don't make sense. In theory, you should have closed down Walmart and opened all the small businesses and allowed minimum people. So it's always these questions, and that bother people. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody black think America want them to live.
That's fair.
And then everybody is like, well, it's the same people taking them, but shit, they can manipulate shit for DNA. We still got special things about our anatomy that make us special. So it's always those questions.
Do you, were you ever, like, you say you plan on getting vaccinated. Was there something, were you ever like on the side of being like, nah, fuck that, I ain't doing it? Did something happen to convince you to do it, or you just haven't gotten around to getting it yet?
Well, it's not, first off, right? So obviously, I don't necessarily have a ton of respect for the FDA. They do a horrible job, with the foods and.
Plus, it's not even FDA approved right now.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying I don't have a ton of trust for the FDA.
Right.
Right. But I do respect that they're attempting to act like they're trying. So at least fool me a little bit, like you act like you care. But if the FDA hasn't approved it, I'm just like, hold up, it ain't that much of an emergency. I'm not that scared of dying enough to where I'm like, I'm gonna just rush out and just do anything. Plus, I didn't do a ton of research on the vaccines. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know, like, it's new methods that they creating new vaccines with now. You know what I mean? Like the Pfizer, those are new methods that are just now being enacted where your body is creating, from what the doctor explained to me on the podcast, right? Your body, they're giving you like the protein makeups and your body is creating the COVID, the COVID virus itself, and you're fighting it with your own stuff. I don't even like the sound of that. Right. That's like, refining my wheat or refining my sugar or pasteurizing my damn milk. Stop fucking with my shit. Give me, make it a little weaker, So if I do it, when I do it, I would do the Johnson & Johnson. That's me. Obviously the Johnson & Johnson then fucked up a lot of people. But me, that's what I would fuck with.
Just take the one and done.
Well, it's the old school way.
It's the old school type vaccine as opposed to the
virus,
Moderna.
Yeah, where they take the virus, weaken it up a little bit so your body can
get immune to it.
Handle the fade.
That's how it used to be.
So I like that way versus, again, all of this modern stuff of, convenience, speed. I'm not tripping. I got time. Like, I'd rather fight it and deal with it like that way.
Yeah, I think that, like, for me, like, this whole COVID shit is like, I mean, obviously I'm tired of this shit. It's to the point where it's like, damn, there's a new variant. And I feel like, especially here, we ain't fucking liberal Ethiopia. We are in the most liberal, well, I mean, Portland, you could do heroin and it's all right. But, but we're in California.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty close to liberal. It's this liberal of the world.
Yeah. And
it's funny you said that. As soon as you said that, it made me think of something. So like I was so invested in the conversation of conservative and liberals, so I didn't realize how states view each other as states. And I remember I'm jumping on the guy Yellow Wolf. I'm jumping on his head because he talking shit about California. I'm not realizing he talking about that whole liberal conservative shit. And I remember telling him like, hey, cuz you better watch what you say. Now I'm like, oh, I get it. This is some white people shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't know Yellow Wolf was talking about California.
Yeah, he had like this crazy. This was like about 2 years ago. He was like talking shit, like, fucking yuppie motherfuckers and fucking liberal, blah, blah, blah. He was talking shit like, hey, bro, you got to take California out your mouth like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize I was ignorant to the conversation.
Well, I just mean in terms of like how everyone's handled.
Right. He's right.
Well, I'm talking about right now, how we see everything getting handled, right? So I could see California getting shut down again.
Yeah.
I can see it happening.
Because we got to put on the show.
Because
we got to act like we care about the citizens.
Right. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen with Gavin trying to keep his gig. You know what I'm saying?
It's looking real bad for the slick.
Real bad.
They might get him out of there.
But no, in terms of just like COVID, like I think I've kind of been on all spectrums of like, I'm over this shit. Okay, I have had it. I got vaccinated. What the fuck else do you need me to do?
It just don't work that way, man. They gotta, the thing about California, even down to the culture itself is all about saving face. So California always trying to save face from the top of the food chain.
Well, such a huge economy on its own that everyone looks at Cali, obviously places like New York as like the example.
Yeah.
For the rest of the country.
Yeah.
Then you got motherfuckers like Texas who are like, suck my dick.
We're gonna do our thing. Florida's
like,
crazy. We're gonna do our thing. I love that attitude. That's the gangster rap attitude. Texas and Florida is the full gangster rap attitude.
You talked about conservative, liberal shit. I feel like people could go onto your Twitter at any given time during the election and during the last few years and maybe confuse you or label you as a black conservative.
Yeah.
Because I've seen you retweet shit from Candace Owens. So where do you, because you're like, I love you because you're unapologetically yourself.
And I'm honest with what I think.
And what you think, you will say it no matter whose feelings it gets. The funniest shit I ever saw you say was about Rick Ross's clothes. And Ross is a boss, but
the killer.
Those clothes ain't made in his size.
Exactly. In my top 5, you feel me, is my favorite.
Right.
And I think he's still mad at me for it, but I'm like, it's not about him as much as it's about how the public wants to view, what the conversation is. How much they want it exaggerated. So, you where they don't make that shirt in 5X.
Right.
They don't make none of that shit. But again.
But like you're so honest with your opinion. Yeah. And I think it's why people love you. I think it's why people follow you. I think
obviously they hate you too.
There's a reason why they hate you. But I'm curious, like, there's definitely some of your viewpoints. Would you consider yourself a black conservative?
And I'm probably the most liberal person in America. That's to being honest. But what I'm not is full of shit.
Fair enough.
And that's the problem with the liberal population. It's more for front. It's more for face value.
It's more to make you feel good inside.
Yeah, they want to look like, they want people to look at me, I'm a good person, versus I genuinely
am a good person.
I give a fuck. I genuinely care about those points. So I could never stand on the side with them. And the thing I respect about conservative is they genuinely the piece of shit that they are.
Right.
See, I could fuck with anything genuine. I can't fuck with things when people faking. Like it's some kind of confusion that, like, the concept of racism is just rooted in conservative. Nah, liberals the same fucking way. They just acting like they fuck with you.
Yeah, I think that the most frustrating, because I would say that I'm like historically very liberal. I've voted Democrat every time. You know what I'm saying? But I think that what's crazy about what Trump did was he brought out the radicals on every side.
Exactly.
Because
I never seen the liberals get so gangster.
Man.
Them dudes had some shit. It was a brother out there, man. This motherfucker was talking crazy. I'm ready. I beat somebody's ass. I'm like, the fuck is going on?
Yeah, Trump brought out the crazy racist, like, scum of the earth that was always there. But now they're more comfortable saying it and
Which I was good with.
And then on the other end, it's like cancel culture is so prevalent now, and it's like there's this loud minority on Twitter of people that control corporations, that control celebrities, because it's like it might be 100 motherfuckers on Twitter, but if you get 100 tweets and you're a celebrity because you said something that might not sit well with whatever the fuck is the woke fucking talking point for the week, you got to go and apologize. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think it sucks because now literally there's no, like, I feel like reason and like just being a normal person that's not crazy is like, it's hard nowadays because there's each extreme on each side controls, whether it's the media, whether it was on TV, whether it's, you know what I'm saying?
You know what you being controlled by?
People
money.
And also giving a fuck of what people think.
Well, you controlled by money, right? So like let's say DaBaby in his situation, right? He's only losing because he allowed them to control how much money he's making. He allowed them to say, you're going to book me on these festivals. Until we decide that this is our culture and we are controlling it and we could do our own thing, we empower them lame-ass festivals.
Facts.
We empower those yuppie-ass events. We're the reason that you exist. It's some kind of confusion that we need you. It's some kind of confusion that Rolling Loud, we didn't make that shit. Mm-hmm. We made that shit. You take us off of that shit is nothing but a fucking reject version of fucking Woodstock.
Right.
So again, until we understand the power in our culture that this hip hop shit is, well, guess what? Every time we try to go to mainstream America, anytime they feel like they want to, they could just slap us down and be like, fuck you, nigga. Get down. Bam. But if we decided to take it into our own hands and control it, then we could say what we want to. We could control our own message. Right now, we at the control of the dollar.
I think DaBaby's probably the first example. I think I really feel like where there's like, motherfuckers, if he's not canceled, this is the closest I've seen someone as far as hip hop is concerned of like a superstar, right? Now, I'm not talking about rappers that have said dumb shit and then we don't hear from them. I mean a superstar, right?
And honestly, I think what DaBaby said, at best is ignorant. At best is ignorant, but really at the least is just exclusionary. Mm. Like, I wouldn't be mad if I went to a concert with Elton John and he jamming his songs, bro, and he like, hey, if you suck dicks, make some noise as a man. I wouldn't be mad. I just wouldn't make noise.
Right.
Feel me? I wouldn't be like, oh, Elton John excluded me in these conversations. Bro, stop trying to always be included. That's what's wrong with America now. They always want to act like everybody needs to be included. That's not true. You just don't need to be discriminated against or necessarily, somebody being, bigoted, prejudice.
Right.
But I don't got to fuck with you. We so desperate to make everybody fuck with each other, man. Fuck that.
It's like everybody wants to be included in everything but isn't necessarily.
Don't got nothing to do with you, bro.
Right.
My views, as much as my views are liberal, I would never be with them pussies. Mm-hmm. It's crip. Like I got way too much attitude. My shit is too stand up. And conservatives, at least they're just assholes. Feel me? And I couldn't be that because I don't have those views. But I respect that it's authentic and it's from this is who we are. Versus somebody, y'all the same way, but y'all trying to act like y'all give a fuck about people.
Yeah, I think with DaBaby, like, I really didn't think, like, first of all, we've been to plenty of rap shows, plenty of nightclubs where they say, yo, if your pussy don't stink, if you ain't got no STDs.
Stinky bitch pussies get mad. He's excluding us. My pussy stinks. It's not my fault. I have a fucking yeast infection that makes my vagina smell. He's excluding me. Like,
no, but what I'm saying is, like, what he did was rooted in, like, a real thing in the clubs, especially in the South.
Normal, sure.
It's normal. Now, did in my opinion, did he fuck up? Sure. I think the worst thing he said was the HIV thing.
Yeah, but
because it was insensitive. But at the same time, right? And I'm not saying that he needed to do this, but all he really had to do was be like, hey man, you know, if you've ever been to the club in the South, this is just how I just said some crazy shit off the top of my head. Obviously, if you have HIV, that was, you know, he like quadrupled down on that shit.
But you supposed to, right? And again, right? It's not saying everybody. He didn't say everybody with HIV or AIDS dies in 2 to 3 weeks. That's not what he said.
I know.
He said aware. If you don't have AIDS or some shit, that you're gonna die in 2 to 3 weeks.
Make some noise.
Again, it's one of those things where we are hearing somebody and not listening to them, and we're reacting. Listen, if you really cared about DaBaby, what you would have did, you would say, hey, man, you need to sit down with Magic Johnson. Y'all need to have a conversation on tape. This is required, feel me? He will educate you, and you lace Magic with the tips, and they have a conversation that's recorded. You put it on TV, educate people. Let this man go get his fucking money. But again, it's not about that. It's about, nigga, you better watch what you say. It ain't about none of the other shit. It's 1,000 motherfuckers that said worse. But, nigga, watch what you say. You getting out of line, nigga. You feel me? You getting out of control.
Well, I think what you said too is like a lot of this shit is about saving face or acting like you care, right? So if as soon as one festival took him off, you knew any other festival that kept him on would look like
good promotion point.
Oh no, they're homophobic.
Yeah.
Or like you said, all the festivals that took him off, you saw it on the Shade Room. You saw their flyer on every single news outlet. So it was like, not only is it free promotion, but it also checks the box of like, okay, we kind of have to do this because one motherfucker took them off. If every other festival doesn't follow suit, they're gonna get looked at like they're homophobic. And I just think that like you said, like I liked what Miley Cyrus posted because she was like, I would like to educate him as opposed to, and then she's like,
he's not shit. I hate him. Elton John came out. I'm like, bro, you don't even use your Twitter, bro. Madonna, what the fuck? Bro, you ain't did nothing that mattered.
Do you think that it was smart for him to though, like lean into it?
Yeah, because he's a fucking gangster rapper. He's a fucking gangster.
That's fair.
Feel me? But the only thing was, as long as he's okay with losing the revenue that they was providing for him, he'll be fine. But obviously he wasn't. He came out and apologized, and that's what happened.
He's probably getting $300-400 a show.
Yeah, but you got to make your own $300-400.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm just saying. I mean, you know, after the 7th or 8th one, you start adding up that money. I
went through the same
because but whether we like it or not, he's a gangster rapper. But he's also a pop star.
But that's the point because he is a gangster rapper.
That's fair.
So the first time you turn into a pop star and stop being a gangster rapper, it's probably not going to work out. I went through the same kind of thing. It wasn't quite that because my stuff was still rooted in a bit of intellect where I was talking about Lil Nas X. Right. Mm-hmm. And I was saying, somebody asked me on my Twitter, they said, hey man, G, you know, do I think Lil Nas X is like a tool of LGBT? I said, well, really, I tweeted, but I didn't at the person. I said, Lil Nas X is not a puppet for LGBTQ. If anything, he's a puppet for white supremacy. And I said, really, more than anything that I'm not feeling about his art, you know what I'm saying? He's fucking corny. Like, it's just corny as shit. Is it executed well? Yes. Is there some decent idea there? Yes. The overall idea of the whole shit is just actually lame and corny. It's a guy named Burt Williams, right? That was a black dude that used to do blackface. Mm-hmm. He was a super talented actor.
But he was doing corny shit.
But bro, why would you blackface your shit. And that's what I feel like he's doing with that culture. It's like you just over the top, bro. And I get it, but it's like sometimes it's corny.
This is what I say about Lil Nas X, because you and I had a little conversation about Lil Nas X and the Satan shoe and all that shit. But I saw your tweet about the white supremacy thing, and I was like, I truly believe. Now, obviously, he's a pop musician. Me and you and the type of music that we. I'm not riding around in my car listening to Lil Nas X.
No, nobody's listening to Lil Nas X.
People are
like white people.
Right.
Or like Main Street people.
He's a pop star.
Sure.
Right? He makes pop music.
But he's a brother, and that's the problem.
That's fair. That's fair.
When you a brother, we expect your shit to have some soul, some depth. He's fucking a cornball. And that shit is fucking irritating. And your records got to be as good as Old Town Road if you're going to do that.
So listen, you can have that position that you subjectively don't like his music, right?
I don't know if I don't. I like Old Town Road. I just don't like the last few records.
So
Old Town Road.
As someone who is on the radio side, right? Someone who can like say, oh, like that's a hit record. Like I feel like the record he put out with the what's it called, Monotero? Yeah. I heard that record and I was like, oh, this is a hit. Now, that record did go number one at radio, right? It went number one.
Yeah, but it probably was more rooted in ads than just it worked its way up. It was probably number one within the first week or two.
No, it wasn't. It was a slow build. I promise you. I can show you the media-based charts. It barely hit.
Also, it came out before the video.
No. The video came out and it barely hit number one on Rhythm maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago.
What was that, a month ago?
The song came out in April. It actually came out in March, third week of March. Because
that's when the video came out?
Yeah, because I went through some legal shit.
You remember?
Yes.
Like, okay, go ahead.
So I heard that record and I was like, okay, this is a good record for radio. Like it's a pop. It's gonna kill it on Kiss FM. It's going, But is it for me? Nah. But you know the shit I'm listening to.
Sure.
But I could subjectively look in Lil Nas X's music and be like, in my opinion. Now you got your opinion. Sure. I'm not saying it ain't corny. Well, but I think he's making good records. I'm not saying he's making good rap records or good soul records. I just think he's making good records.
But my limitation, it'd be disrespect to insult me and think that I'm just some kind of, I like records.
Right. No, records, you're right. And you're someone who's always been that way.
So Montero as a record is, even as a pop record it's written decent. It's executed. I just think it's very it lacks something original. Right. And don't get me wrong, because a lot of times, right, we're in spaces where, people are doing the next thing or the thing that everybody's doing. But pop is definitely a higher standard where you're supposed to dig deeper. Like Bruno Mars makes pop records.
That's fair.
And that shit is some shit.
Fire. Of course.
That's the shit. So when you say a record, I'm thinking would
I rather listen to Lil Nas X's Montero or Silk Sonic Leave the Door Open? Silk Sonic Leave the Door Open is a song I'm going to be listening to in 50 years.
That got soul. I would rather listen to NSYNC.
And that's fair.
Because the record is better.
I'm not saying that the records aren't better. I'm just saying he's got good records. It ain't like he's putting out duds.
They're not horrible. They're not horrible. No.
And so my thing is I think Lil Nas X is somebody who, like you said when you first got in here, we had an off-camera conversation about a conversation you had with T-Pain.
Yeah.
And how you were like, yo, whatever you are, lean into it 1,000%. Yeah. So you started wearing your glasses because your name's Glasses Malone, but you never used to wear glasses. No. So now you wear glasses, but they're big.
Yeah.
Lil Nas X is a gay dude, right?
Yeah.
And he's leaning into that.
But again, right? So I agree, right? It's a way to do everything. But then, so let's say if my name is Glasses, right? And I'm a Crip rapper. Those are my two brands. And I walk in this motherfucker with bandanas tied around my wrists, bandanas tied around all my joints, my neck, my heads. It's corny.
It's extra.
So and it's way past. This is extra. That shit is stupid and ridiculous, but that don't mean everybody can't tell.
Right. So let me ask you this though, because if Lil Nas X was a dude who was straight and he was making out with bitches on stage and there was a bunch of half naked bitches dancing around him, nobody would question it.
That's not true. It's a belief that this is all because
I really think a lot of it is because he's a gay dude.
But that's not true.
Because we've never seen someone quote unquote, and like I said, I do not identify.
Is Elton John not gay?
Yeah, but I don't identify Lil Nas X and Elton John as the same because Lil Nas X, in some conversations, people consider him hip hop, even though I don't. I consider him a pop artist.
He's a pop artist,
but
that raps.
he's certainly the first quote unquote person that raps that's on a level that he's on that is openly gay.
But nobody listen.
He's the first.
As much as people care, if the reason you separate him and Elton John is because Elton John's shit is really good.
I mean, Elton John makes way better music than Lil Nas X. But 1,000%.
But that's my point. So again, it's easy to, and that's what everybody's doing. Like, it's always if you're critical of his brand, if you're critical of his art, the immediate turn is, oh, you're just homophobic. You don't like because he's gay. Let's actually unpack the fucking records. Let's unpack the visuals. They're executed
his
well.
His videos are fire.
But they're executed well, but he's not making ground.
I mean, the video with the devil was kind of crazy.
That's not even making ground. We've seen that before, right? But what it is he's just wrapping it up in gay face. Like how Burt Williams is wrapping up in black.
All right, that's fair.
Like Burt Williams wrapping up in black.
And he's a black man.
Burt Williams is black.
Okay.
So he's wrapping it up and he's doing Britney Spears in gay face. I like patting that. Gay face.
Gay face.
He's just gay. Like blackface, he's gay face. So he's just over dragging some shit, right? He over dragging it. It's like that shower scene is Christina Aguilera. They shot that before. That's been done. But you just used a bunch of gay black men. You just did it in gay face.
Because he's a gay guy.
But it's not because he's a gay guy. He knew everybody would care about that. See, gay people ain't just running around just being extra. Just like black people ain't. It's black people that's dark as blackface, right? It's just dark ass people with red lips, right? But people ain't just running around just being a nigga. You know, it's not as simple, right? So when you see a black man, right, that's what makes his thing. He's a gay man. But because he's unbelievably at 1,000 with trying to tell you I'm gay, bro, we know you are. I'm not saying nothing wrong. Nobody give a fuck. Elton John's gay, right? All kind of people we end up loving is gay. Nobody fucking cares. Like, right? Sure you care a little bit. Prince was probably bisexual. I think everybody know that.
But on the same token, is it not like it's his art, right? So if he wants to be a trailblazer for his community, that you know,
is he really that's not trailblazer.
No, I think if you think about,
it's like saying Burt Williams is trailblazing blackface for black
because,
people.
But I don't know who Burt Williams is.
He's the biggest.
No, you told me who
black.
He was.
So again, I wouldn't call him a trailblazer because you're not gonna have generations of.
No, I just mean in terms of like, I can't think of a time in the last 25 to 30 years that I've been alive and paying attention to music that there's been an openly gay superstar. Not talking about Adam Lambert or somebody who don't really matter. I'm talking about Lil Nas X is a superstar. And so you and I had a discussion about that video with the devil.
Sure.
And what I appreciated about the video was his explanation for it was essentially everyone.
Yeah.
My whole life was.
She said, I'm going to hell, blah, 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 blah. All this clown shit. When really it was just like, this is a good idea to make people talk.
And it worked.
But again, I can.
Isn't that a lot of this shit though?
Yeah, but.
Isn't that a lot of this shit?
Agree 100%. But then it got to be good it got to be great at the root. See, the problem
But great at the root to you isn't great at the root to maybe a 17-year-old kid who loves Lil Nas X.
We all love great records.
But what I'm saying is, I think Lil Nas X has some records that are. I hear a
damn lie.
What you mean?
You're a damn lie. Old Town Road is best record and you know it.
Oh, for sure.
But that's the problem. Like,
but Holiday is a dope record. The Panini is a banger. Panini's a banger.
It's decent.
That shit is a banger.
It bangs, but it's not really.
But like what I'm saying is like I'll hear Lil Nas X like Panini. I heard Lil Nas X Panini. I'm like, oh, this shit is tough.
Bro, it's 10 records in, bro. We're talking. It's Old Town Road is better than every song.
Of course, it's probably the biggest song of the last 20 years.
But you're missing the point of what I'm saying. We've demanded greatness from everybody. We're not allowed to say this about nobody else.
But isn't you saying greatness subjective to what you think is great?
Well, that's the point, right? It's my perspective.
100%.
Right. So but what I don't want is my opinion to be discounted about art or brand because you think I'm a homophobe or you think I care that he's
Which
gay.
is not the case.
And that's what I'm dealing with. And that's what I don't like. I don't care that the man is gay. I don't give a fuck how many, if the fucking shower scene where they was dancing naked was fire, it'd be fucking fire. It just wasn't good.
You think
wasn't even a good dance routine.
It was just corny.
Just fucking corny.
So let me ask you this. Do you think...
Was it single ladies?
No, of course not.
So now I'm looking at him like, okay, you went through all this to show this fucking subpar routine.
So let me ask you this. I think that there is a conversation to be had, though. Don't you think a lot of the hate that he gets is rooted in some homophobia, though?
Sure.
I'm not talking about you.
Sure. Some people are not. They cannot accept they don't understand the lifestyle enough, and it's confusing to them because they have their own belief of how this is happening, right? I've had conversations with people that they feel like, oh, you can't be born gay. It's 1,000 things about people who don't understand versus me where I just don't care. I just don't have a reason to care.
You have an opinion on what he's doing and you think it's corny. Ain't got nothing to do with nothing else.
Bro, I don't, man, people can speak up for me and I stop them when they try. I don't need nobody to speak for me. I don't want you to, G is my boy, and I don't say shit. Feel me? Fuck these motherfuckers. They can think what they want to think. His shit is corny. I told him your shit's corny. You are black. You owe some more soul. Maybe you don't think so, but I am demanding it as a fan. You went through all this to get to my attention. You dancing on the devil's lap. You didn't snap the man's neck. You slide, look like a little fairy. You doing all this shit you doing for me to see you because you want to show me all these visions of masculinity that I'm not used to seeing, especially from black men, right? You want to show me this. So you get my attention. You make the Satan shoes. You already know black people rooted in some level of spirituality. We don't fuck with Satan, but you do it anyway. So you get my attention. Then you come back, you got the shower scene. I've been to jail, feel me? You dancing with the dudes in the shower in a subpart number. That's just, you should have actually had a fire number at least so I could be pumped up about it, right? So you go through this to get my attention, you get it, and then I give you my opinion on your brand and your art, and you try to wrap it up and say like I'm a homophobe. You asked me to look at it. I looked at it. Here's what I'm telling you.
That's what I think about it.
Now, you could take it and say, oh, gee, you're being a homophobe. You could put whatever clown shit. Nigga, Elton John mops the floor. Sam Smith mops the floor with your slow ass.
I don't disagree.
So if you're not trying to be that good, don't come fucking with my attention.
So let me ask you this. When you tweeted that he's more a tool for white supremacy, or puppet rather.
Because it matters.
Than LGBTQ, what do you mean by that?
He's a fucking entertainment piece for mainstream America, like puppets. He's the show.
But when you say white supremacy, what do you
because
mean?
At the highest level of people looking, right, at the white supremacy, this is the top level of this country, right, who knows if people are embarrassed, who knows of everything. He's their entertainment piece. Feel me? Like you said, he's a one of one, right? And he know everybody that look like me is shrinking down in their seats like, oh, man. And it's not everybody. It's not just because you gay. It's just your shit's corny. Sometimes, again, man, when you black, it's not fair. Right. It's not fair. But there's things expected of you. And I'm not demanding more than you than I wouldn't demand from Prince or any other great artist. You feel me? You don't get off because you gay. You don't get off because you still expect it. Well, guess what, nigga? You got to carry 2 torches. Don't make us look stupid like you don't make them people look stupid. Feel me? So I think he's doing a bad job of making people look, you know what I mean? He just doing it goofy. Like you're not really adding to the culture. You're not creating a trend of things that's going to happen. You got to dig deep. Bro, you went through some real struggles. If you're a young black gay man, you went through some real struggles.
For sure.
Can I get that?
Of course.
Can I stop getting these generic records that are not, like you're making bad versions of Max
He's making
Martin
pop records. He's not making anything with substance or depth to them as far as like him talking about like really tapping into the struggle.
But it gotta at least be Backstreet's Back is good.
I mean look, he got one. He got the little the Old Town Road is off.
Fire.
I mean, you know.
But like damn, we like 8 or 9. Then we done had about 4. Like, come on.
This is what I say. I never heard a whack Lil Nas X song. I never heard
none of them whack. No, he's too good to make a whack song at this point.
Like he's a good artist. Like he makes records. Yeah, I'm not saying he's made anything better than Old Town Road. But I'm like, yo, I'm not riding around bumping Lil Nas X at all. But if I'm like, I'll check his video and I'll be like, oh yeah, I get it. You know, it's a pop record, great writers, you know, whatever it is.
But I don't think I think it could be better.
And you're right, it could be. So everything could be better.
But so then we all should demand it. We do it to every other artist.
He's not talented like Bruno Mars though.
But I'm saying
Bruno Mars is an alien. Yeah. Have you seen that man live?
Yeah, but again, it's still pop. Like it's not.
No, I know it is, but Bruno Mars is like one of the most talented artists that we've seen in the last like 50 years. Like he's a.
I love Bruno,
bro,
but I would
live.
It's Morris Day.
His live show's insane. No, Morris Day. I'm talking about.
It's Morris Day.
I'm talking about that level.
But I'm saying what makes his shit dope is he's just not. He don't look like me, and he's doing that.
I think Bruno.
And he's ill.
Nah, Bruno's an alien.
But again,
Elton John's an alien. Put him in front of that piano.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, no disrespect, because Bruno is fucking fire, and he got fire. He got some of the best. I wouldn't say he's one of the best 50 artists of the 50 years. I'd say he has some of the. I wouldn't even say that. I'd say he has some of the best records I've heard in 50 years.
He's one of the best performers in the last 50 years.
I haven't seen that, but
oh man,
6ix9ine is number one on that list for me.
I agree.
But
at least he was. I
haven't seen it. So
peak 6ix9ine.
Peak 6ix9ine. Which is all that. So right, Elton John, right? That's fire. That's fire. That's uncharted.
I don't disagree.
Uncharted territory. Fire.
I don't disagree.
Feel me? Sam Smith. Uncharted territory. Fire.
I think Sam Smith is fire. Now, with that being said, I probably would rather listen to a Lil Nas X song than a Sam Smith song because I don't want to slice my wrists. I listen to Stay With Me more than every last Stay With
Lil
Me is
Nas.
a fucking incredible record. Okay. Stay With Me is an incredible record. I'll give you that. Lil Nas X is never going to make a record as good as Stay With Me.
Why not?
Because he's not that talented.
And hence my point.
Sam Smith has a voice of an angel. Lil Nas X is a SoundCloud rapper turned pop star.
But then you got to just
with great writers.
But you got to define it. Because
we can't hold Lil Nas X, who literally is a SoundCloud rapper.
No, he's a pop star.
No,
so I can hold him.
He started as a SoundCloud rapper, and he's evolved into a pop star.
But his first record was a pop record.
He's not a great that shit was a joke.
But it's still a pop record.
Okay, fair enough. But it was a joke.
So now you got to compete with Bruno Mars. That's your lane.
Not everyone got to be talented. Hey, how about this? Let me give you an example. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that Eminem is culturally prevalent in the last 15 years, right? But can we agree that technically Eminem is a top 10, and 10 would be short-sighting him. But if I were to say Eminem lyrically, skills as a rapper is top 10 all time, you would be like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but I mean, greatness.
Of course, right?
Greatness.
Of course, right?
Sure. Top 5.
5 for sure.
Yeah, it's greatness. You got too much greatness.
100%, right? Now, I'm not over here barking down on, I don't even want to say Lil Baby because he's improved so much as a rapper. I'm not barking down on Gunna. If Gunna got a hot record in the club or got a number one record at Urban, because he's not as talented as someone like Eminem. Nah, at the time, they're not the same.
But that's what I'm saying. They're not. But
Gunna, they're not the same.
But again, right? What makes us all even, all of us, right? In hip hop, or all of us in pop music, or all of us in any of these genres, the records. So again,
so you're saying record for record.
That's all you have to be.
That's fair.
You don't got to be as talented.
But
you got to create a record.
A song like Hot by Young Thug and Gunna, right? Is like a record that makes sense in the club. It's a cool record. It was number one at Urban Radio. So, it's a cool record. Yeah. But it's not fucking.
But I'm only asking.
It's not the box.
But I'm not asking it to be the box, right? I'm asking it to be ha.
It's not ha.
I'm asking.
But it's not.
But again. Right, so
but that don't mean that it ain't dope. But that don't mean that it ain't good. That don't mean that it can't be in the same world. Like, no, I'm not. Like, yeah, Lil Nas X ain't gonna. He can't do what Sam Smith does.
No, but he can make records as great as Sam Smith.
I mean, maybe.
Yes.
I mean, he has. I mean, look.
I'm not as dope. I'm not as great as Eminem, right? As technically sound as Eminem, but that don't mean I can't make a record as
that
great
hangs with one of his records
as Stan.
No, I don't disagree with you.
It's about doing the work.
So at the end of the day, your thoughts on Lil Nas X are strictly rooted in you're not crazy about the records he's putting out, and you think the execution is corny.
Well, I think the records are decent. They're above average. They're not, you know what? They're above average. That's fair to say compared to all the records today. But then again, I'm also on the court competing against Magic Johnson. Like, I'm looking at all of our opportunities as modern day artists to compete with the greatest records to ever come out. So I look at it differently. You know it's corny. He knows it's corny. Whether you admit it or not, it's cool. You don't got to admit it publicly.
I see why you think it's corny. I look at it as you know, when we like
you know it's corny.
No, I mean, but I also
see sometimes you be
but I'll come from the era of watching Eminem videos that were corny.
Me too. And I'd say they was corny. Sometimes they were fucking corny.
But I'm saying, so when I look at that, it kind of, when I see Lil Nas X putting his videos out.
So some of Eminem content isn't corny?
Of course. Oh my God.
Why are you struggling?
The real Slim Shady was corny as fuck.
So then why are you struggling to say Lil Nas X content is corny?
I'm not saying it's not, but what I'm saying is, if anything.
Then say it.
To me, it's not.
So none of the content is corny, but Eminem was corny.
Because when I watched the Devil video, I actually thought that was fire.
I'm saying so
now maybe the prison shit.
Is it corny or not?
To me,
the prison shit is not corny.
The corniest shit I
thought it was refining and refreshed.
No, I just thought it was this is cool. This reminds me of some TRL era shit. You thought
it was cool.
I wasn't mad at it, to be honest, 100%.
You know it's corny. You don't want to say it's corny.
I'm just being honest with you. I think
it's corny. It don't mean you're a homophobe because you think it's corny.
Bro,
it don't mean I'm a racist.
I'm not scared.
Yes, you are. And it don't mean I'm a racist because I think some of Eminem shit is corny.
No,
and I'm not a sellout if I think early Dave Chappelle sometimes was corny.
But you want to know what the difference is?
Sure.
And why I can't say it's corny?
Why?
It's because I expect corny shit from Lil Nas X because he's a pop star. Eminem
was a pop star. By the time he got to the real Slim Shady, he was a pop star.
Yeah, but I was listening to Eminem on Soundbombing too, Rockets Records shit.
You just said the same thing. Lil Nas X started as a SoundCloud rapper.
But what I'm saying is Lil Nas X's first record.
Don't you see some of that shit you be like?
To me, yeah. It's
but Lil Nas X's first record ever was corny as fuck. So this is his bar. He's a corny guy. I'm like, yo, he's on brand. He's on brand.
I won't say the record is corny. The video could have been corny, but not the record. The record was kind of.
I mean, it was. I got horses in the back. It's corny, but it worked because it was great.
Well, but it wasn't.
He set a corny bar from the rip, and it's just been consistent.
No,
that's who he is.
That record is not corny.
I got the horses in the back. He literally faked a country accent on the song.
I get when you're doing it.
It's a great record.
But if you execute it correctly,
he did.
Then it's not corny. See, that's the thing. Like Adam Sandler, right? Is one of my favorite, you know what I mean?
I love Adam
Sandler. People in Hollywood, right? The Water Boy treads the line. See, you could tread the line of sometime being, you got to hit it, but if you go too far, it'll get corny.
But you know what about Adam Sandler? Is the same way. But listen. I think Adam Sandler, I expect corny shit. So when he does like the Zohan movie, which is super corny.
Then you say it's corny.
I appreciate it.
So why did you just say?
Laugh.
But again, me too.
But I appreciate Lil Nas X's shit because I expect it to be corny.
You won't say it's corny.
No, I just said I expect it to be corny. I
But
literally just said he set the bar of corniness. His whole career is corny. His whole career is corny.
You getting past everything but the corny parts of the record.
What do you want me to say?
Say that shower scene in that video is corny.
I don't think that shower scene was corny. Do I think that... I'm being honest. Do I think the song was corny? Maybe, yeah, a little corny. Corny for my liking.
So what's corny besides his complete idea?
Just the song's called Industry Baby, and like it's like, yeah, okay, that's a low-hanging fruit for Lil Nas X to make a song about being the industry plant. Okay, I get it. And then the video is what I expect, which is why it's not corny.
Still corny.
You gotta be good. Expected it.
Listen, as much as Adam Sandler, right, can be corny, The Waterboy is amazing, and it's not corny.
I love The Waterboy. Zohan is amazing.
Because, but no, sometimes you can go.
And it's corny as fuck.
But sometimes you can go too far. Corny don't necessarily mean it's not good.
I am not listening to Lil Nas X's music.
Obviously.
Subjective.
You don't listen to pop music.
Me?
Well, unless it's like Bruno Mars. It got to be elite level Bruno Mars.
I'm not listening to Lil Nas X in my car ever. Yeah. I threw on his EP when it dropped. Was it called the Rodeo EP? Right, just to listen to it. I threw. It was like 5 songs. All right, cool. He had a record with Cardi B. That was cool. But I am not riding around in my car pressing play on Lil Nas X ever. What I can do, as someone who's appreciates entertainment, I can look and see what he's doing and be like, oh, I get it. Now it's not for me.
Why not?
Because it's just not. I'm also.
Do you not enjoy some pop music?
Not most of it, to be fair.
Do you enjoy some? Do you like Bruno Mars?
I love Bruno Mars.
That's pop.
Okay, so some, if that's some, sure.
Do you enjoy Sam Smith?
No.
I'm
not listening to. I mean, yeah, Elton John. Yeah, of course, I love Elton John.
So the best of the best pop music.
I love Elton John. Yeah, I mean, I like 70s shit, 80s shit. I mean, not even 80s.
The best of the best.
I'm not big on 80s pop music.
There's a lot of pop music out there.
But I'm not a big 80s pop guy. I actually think 80s pop was corny as fuck. But But
so that means you don't like.
I don't like NSYNC. I never liked Backstreet Boys. I never liked none of that shit.
That's 90s. That's 90s.
I know, but I'm saying I never liked any of that shit. So when people are like Justin Bieber, Peaches, right? Good record.
That's fire.
That's an R&B record, right?
That's fire.
Great record. Now,
it's not corny though.
No. You're right. It's fire. That's a beautifully written song. It's probably his executed perfectly.
Fire.
Again, I'm not driving around in my car bumping Peaches.
I'd play Peaches today.
Now, if Peaches comes on,
you're not gonna change the channel.
I'm not gonna change it.
But if that industry baby song,
I might change it. I might change it.
So I'm not. So again, we're
talking.
We're agreeing a point, but we're agreeing on the same point.
It's not for me.
I didn't say it was bad. It's just not good. Neither is Peaches, but you would not change it because it's
Peaches is a better song.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, Peaches is a way better. Peaches is better than
what I'm saying.
Sonically,
better a lot of songs.
I'll take Peaches more than. I mean, that's a fucking perfect song.
Sure, I know you. No complaints with me. That shit fire.
I love. Like there's like records like that I love to play, like in the club, like Essence by Wizkid. Fucking love it, right? It's a great fucking. Justin Bieber just jumped on the remix. Now I'm probably not driving around in my car listening to Wizkid.
But you're not gonna change if it came on.
Of course not. It's
so
a great
all I'm
record.
demanding is better record and better representation from Lil Nas X. I'm not asking for much. I'm not saying, hey, don't be gay. You're gay, bro. That's how it is. I don't give a fuck. It's not my fucking business. But when you get my motherfucking attention, you go through all this shit for me to find out.
And I give you my opinion.
Deliver, nigga.
Right.
Deliver, my nigga. Don't. I'm not even talking about the song. I'm talking about this, bro. Go to the next level. That's all I'm saying. That's what's expected. You 9-10 records deep at this point. Let's get to it now.
What do you think? Do you think DaBaby can do anything to patch up his current optics with pop?
They'll be booking him at the festivals in a year.
In a year, you think he'll be fine?
Yeah, man.
I think he just jumps on a Lil Nas X song and it's all good.
He definitely shouldn't do that.
You don't think he should do that?
No.
Lil Nas X, DaBaby on the remix.
Bro, DaBaby actually has this authentic feel. Lil Nas X lacks authenticity.
Yeah. They can help each other.
Bro, go to Elton John. Get Elton John to sing your. Go get Sam Smith to sing your hook. Don't fuck with him. He's a fucking cornball. Make him dig himself out of corny first. Come back to the rest of the, the depth, nigga. You a brother. Come back to the depth of it. Feel me? Then we fucking with it. But then if you're going to do something, you worried about how the LGBTQ community sees you, go get a big dog. Go Elton John. Get Sam Smith. Go sit down with Sam. Let him sing a beautiful hook to the ladies or sing a beautiful hook to me and whoever the fuck. Right. Just sing a love hook and you rap with. Go to the best. Don't fuck with him. He's a fucking cornball. He got to get his shit together. I demand better. He can do it too. I heard Old Town Road. There's something in there. He just got to.
Let me ask you this too. So like on the other side of the coin, there's guys like Boosie, right? Who's one of my favorite dudes in the game. Every time I talk to him, I know what I'm getting. He's hilarious. But at the same time, he also comes across a little homophobic.
He has a genuine fear.
And obviously, I don't think it's for him, at least, because I'd like to think I've been around him enough to know that he's not a hateful guy.
Sure.
But I do think that there's like a big part of hip hop in the industry, whether it's people behind the scenes or whatever, that kind of share his opinions about just the homosexuals in general.
Sure.
And I'm a believer that if you're gay, you were gonna be gay anyway.
I wouldn't say that, but I think there are some people that are born gay.
And I also think like if somebody like Lil Nas X being openly gay as an African American man in this country, which as you acknowledged earlier, probably one of the hardest things to be in this world as a black man, let alone a black gay man. God, because then you're fucked in your own community on top of being fucked in America.
Sure.
Right? So if Lil Nas X standing on that openly and proudly helps inspire people to be themselves more, right? To be more proud of who they are or to live their truths louder or more proudly, isn't that a good thing?
I mean, but again, yes, right?
Unless you believe that he's actually infiltrating people's minds and turning them gay, which I don't think is the case.
And I've been having this dilemma in this conversation, right? Because I used to feel the same way. I do not think you could just play gay. Like it is, for some man to take penis, bro, is a different kind of devotion. Like you have to be committed. It's gonna be tough. Even like Bruce Jenner, you know what I mean, or Caitlyn, whatever, right? even then, he's still not gay.
No, right.
He's a lesbian. He became a lesbian.
Right.
So I think it's a different commitment. So I felt the same way you did. I felt like you can't get people to be gay, but that might not be true. That could be wrong. It can be a lot more influential than we want to admit. We're in a really weird place in society where social media is controlling a lot of things and attention.
TikTok too, man.
But in general, all of it is controlling a lot. People are dying for attention. Like they're in a really weird space. So the things people will do to get attention, that could be a problem. So that's why
I agree with you on that.
Because so again, like, as much as I wanted to kind of look at him like, bro, it is something to be scared of.
I think this, right? I think people will do things for attention now more than ever. But at the same time, like you said, to be a gay person is a big commitment, right? So I think if you were going to, be attracted to men and be in romantic relationships with men.
I just think, you got to. In my, man.
But what I'm saying is
in
that
my mind,
had
personally, I think you just really have to be committed. That's a lot.
No, so what I'm saying is like those people were going to probably feel that way inside anyway. Maybe they were going to get married to a woman that they hated or that they secretly, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
know if that's necessarily true. I think both sides at that point, we would all be speaking from ignorant places, but we also can't deny the control and influence.
I think there's definitely a such thing as saying that there's an attention thing going on, which is where I think and
I'm not accusing any homosexual person. I genuinely think this is what's going on, but I can't ignore right now we're in one of the most scariest times in society where everybody is following, for attention, because everything about our life is built on, what is it called? Societal acceptance or societal, whatever that is. The wealth of it.
I think the way I look at it, right, when like Boozy says some shit, to me it kind of makes me cringe because I'm like, man, like the only way you're really scared of this is if you truly believe Lil Nas X can turn a child gay.
And I think genuinely they believe that. And
I think genuinely Boozy thinks that that's the case.
I genuinely for sure, because he definitely believed that. And I didn't, but now I'm starting to like, okay, I see what you're saying, because you could turn a child into a gangster. You could turn a child into you could turn a child into a racist.
That's true.
So again, it's all a lifestyle change. It's all a lifestyle thing.
I don't know. I think it's about like what you're attracted to, I think is kind of built into you, I guess.
I would like to believe that, but man, that might not be true. I would like to believe that's true, but again, this is one of them conversations that
society wanted me to be attracted to white women.
Sure.
In my entire life, I've not fucked with any white women because they just don't do it for me.
That's racist, though.
No, it's not. I'm just being honest with you.
Racist as fuck.
As a child, what did I grow up watching? What was on TV? Baywatch. Well, who was on Sports Illustrated covers? Fucking, what was the bitch's name?
So you never seen a white lady you want to nail?
I mean, I can like see a white chick and be like, yeah, she's cute, but like,
so you've never seen a white lady you thought was absolutely gorgeous?
Of course.
So then what are we talking about?
Is there not men in this world that you can be like, that's a good looking dude?
Never.
You've never seen a guy and been like, yo, he's a good looking guy?
Never.
Never.
I've never been attracted to a guy.
I didn't say attracted to. I said, can you acknowledge?
Have you ever been attracted to a white woman? You've never been attracted to a white woman?
When I was a little kid, I think Pamela Anderson was hot. But then I discovered J-Lo.
Megan Good is not hot.
It's not for me.
That is crazy.
Wait, Megan Good?
Yeah.
Megan Good.
Oh, not Megan, but Megan Fox.
Oh yeah, Megan Fox. No, her thumbs kill me. She's got short thumbs. Plus, that's MGK's home. That's MGK's girl. That's my dog. So, but no.
Shit, he know he's Lil Fox.
I can acknowledge she's a beautiful woman, but it's not for me.
Yeah, see, that's the point, right? Somebody probably wouldn't believe you.
Once I discovered J-Lo as a child, it was over. It was just like Latinas, and then Tyra Banks, and I was like, oh, this is different. I don't want to fuck nobody who looks like they could be related to me. You know what I mean?
I never heard that, but this is definitely special. But again, right? So,
but I can acknowledge a white chick looks like, yeah, she's beautiful.
Yeah, but if you don't want to nail her, if you're not attracted to it,
I mean, listen. What I'm saying is, I should be into white girls.
Not really. You don't have to be. All I'm saying is, right? Maybe. Okay, so I can see the comp, but again, I don't know if I can just. At one time, I was certain of it, but kind of thinking, I'm not sure. It could be a little bit more influential. So
that's what I would say. I say all the gay people I know would, and this is people who are actually gay, who actually suck dick and get their dick sucked by men, and God bless them. Friends of mine, say that this is something that they knew as soon as they were conscious of attraction, and that this is like this.
I know the homies told me the same thing that I know.
So based on what gay people say,
but I've heard other gay people say different. I've heard other gay people talk about things that have happened to them.
You talking about like getting molested as children? Yeah. I mean that.
And they said fuck them up.
Maybe.
And again, but I do know. But again, we are coming into uncharted territories in society at this point, where influence and social wealth. Social. This is a specific word, but now they're at all-time highs.
I think there's the all-time high.
Think about right now, is rappers wearing dresses.
Yeah.
That was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, but Andre did that.
That's what I'm saying. So now he wore a kilt. That's not fair.
Yeah, but Andre also just fashionably was just super forward, and people clowned him back then.
But a kilt still is
okay. Young Thug wore a dress on the cover of an album,
and a guy wore a wedding dress in a video.
Yep.
Right. So again, we're doing things for attention.
How about this? Dennis Rodman wore a dress, right? Married himself.
Yes. We're doing so.
Do we think that made other people gay?
Well, I don't think that's the. I don't.
Do you think he inspired people to
wear dresses? Yes.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I think people buried themselves after.
How about this though? Do you think that Young Thug wearing a dress, if anything? First of all,
do people refer to their homies as my love? Do people refer to themselves as having dicks out their gun? Yes, he's an influential figure. He's a very talented, gifted.
Yeah, but
rapper.
I don't think he's influencing anyone to suck cock.
Because he's not necessarily on record sucking cock. If he's sucking,
you think Lil Nas X is influencing people to suck dick?
I don't know. He never influenced me. That's what I can tell you. But again, you're asking me, right? I don't think that. I think if my kids saw me, but it's not crazy for Bootsy to think kids can want to follow success and wealth. And they may think success and wealth could come with sucking dick if they're looking at Lil Nas X. It might sound asinine the thought of it, but we are in a different. I watched somebody the other day kill somebody over a pair of shoes in a raffle.
That was insane. 16-year-old kid.
You're missing what's going on.
No, the 16-year-old kid is who killed the guy.
But you're missing the point of where we at. So to keep ignoring we're in different spaces, feel me? And you got to be careful.
What you're saying is that we're in uncharted territory as far as social media being so prevalent, and I might be fair. I think too, like now it's also almost like, where there's so much opinion and shit all around everybody, right? You open your phone, you just scrolling on TikTok, whatever the algorithm feeds you, it's gonna make you feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? I got my niece is she just came out as non-binary. Mm-hmm. She's 14 years old.
I don't even know what that is. So I know what it is, but I was like, that shit is crazy.
Right.
It's like I don't want you to identify me as either anything.
So the they them thing is another thing that's like, I had a conversation with my boy Ramses about this recently, and he was like, and I was to the point where I was like, look, I'm so down if you're born a male and you're like, I decided I want to be a female, so call me she. All right, cool. The they them thing just breaks my brain a little.
Well, because
it sounds like I'm talking to multiple people. Because it's language.
The irony is, right, I'm a transphobe, right? And people get upset and I'm like, bro, I'm just telling you the truth. I have a genuine fear of trans people. It's confusing to me and it blows my mind. And they never go to the complete other side enough to where even the ones that go all the way over is just like, that's a lot for me. You know what I mean? For my brain.
It's something that doesn't.
It's just confusing. I'm confused.
So you're openly saying you're transphobic?
Yes.
Okay.
I've said this multiple times and people get mad at me. Don't get mad at me because I'm scared. The fuck you want me to do? I see that shit.
Have you had any conversations with any trans people?
No, and that's what I'm trying to set up on my podcast because I'm trying to have a better understanding. I don't think they're going to kill me. It's just a scary thought. The confusion worries me.
Do you think being confused and being scared are separate or they're kind of the same? Because scared is like, when we hear the word transphobic.
Fear means danger, right? So the danger would be, right, if for most black men, you would be worried that you're gonna run into a woman that was a man. Right? That previously, right? You could have had the Johnson sliced off, could have got the breast, all the female hormones, but you still don't want that to happen to you. That's a big thing. I wouldn't want that to happen to me. That would bother me.
So you want to have an open conversation with someone who's from the trans community to help understand.
Yeah.
Because I do think that there are people who genuinely decide like, I'm not this, and in order for me to be happy and fulfilled, I have to live my life this way.
And I respect that concept completely and all of those other concepts, right? The problem is when you start trying to change what I see. That's my problem.
So I think that
See, that's what I don't like about
So this is what I think. I think that like you're at least open enough to where you can say, I truly am confused about what this is.
And have a genuine fear.
And I genuinely would like to sit down and have a dialogue with someone who is from that community because I would like to understand it more.
Yeah.
And I think that is where what you're saying is different than probably a lot of the hate and bigotry and negativity that someone who is in the trans community or someone who did grow up as like maybe a trans 17 or 18-year-old, they experience that word transphobic in a different way. That probably means violence,
hate them,
hatred, that, you know, their health being at risk, you know, discrimination.
Sure.
You're saying it in terms of, hey, look,
the actual definition.
It really, this is a language thing. It means, you know, like you said, danger, fear, right? And I wouldn't say that you probably fear for your life.
No.
But you don't understand it.
Sure.
And so I think what yours, because I don't want people to be like, Glasses Malone says he's transphobic.
They can say that. I'm okay with being who I am and honest about who I am.
But what the difference is like with that word comes, and whether or not we like to say this is what it says in the dictionary, with that word comes a lot of other stuff attached to it.
So what?
I don't think you're a bigot.
I would never. Hell no.
And I don't think you're a hateful person.
Of course, I hate some people, and if I hate
but I don't think you're a hateful person, though. I don't think you're in your first nature is not being a hateful guy.
No, but I don't think that's even the worst racist concepts. I think it's all rooted in ignorance, right? We're all ignorant.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like if you're scared, if you're arachnophobic, right, or you have arachnophobia, right? You're scared of spiders. It's because you don't understand. You may think all spiders are venomous. You may think they could bite you. You may think all of that, but if you obviously, right, if you informed yourself or if you were educated, it would bring some level of peace.
I also don't want to compare spiders to trans people because trans people aren't poisonous. They're just
neither
they're
are
just people.
Fucking spiders.
But a lot of spiders are.
Not even a lot. The majority aren't.
But
see how you just did that. See that's the thing with human beings.
But nobody trans is poisonous.
But again, if let's say if it's a man who was a woman, like a man, right, who became a woman,
right,
that's going out of her way because there is some sleeping with guys who she doesn't disclose that she is, and she know that could crush them. That is dangerous. Now I'm not saying
that is dangerous,
but I'm saying
I don't disagree with you.
But I'm saying that's not all of their agenda. It's just like with spiders, their agenda is not to poison everybody.
So the point that you would like to try to understand in sitting down with someone would be some of the, I guess, the concept of like why you're deciding to live your life this way. What is?
Well, I think I get it, right? The idea of it makes sense to me. Right? Okay. If you really feel like, even though I could never relate, I have no idea. But if you felt you are a woman your whole life and you were a man and you felt that way, I don't think I want to understand how did you feel that way. I don't think that's the point.
Which part of it is confusing to you, that baffles you?
No, once it happens, the fact that you want me to see you different, that's the thing that fucks me up.
So let me ask you this, right?
Yeah.
If someone says to you, and I'm not saying Cook on the couch over there, all of a sudden says, hey, I'm a woman, call me she, or I'm gonna cancel you, right?
Sure.
But let's say you meet someone let's say you grew up around somebody. Yeah. You ain't seen them in 10 years.
Yeah.
And you see them and they've transitioned to a woman. I'm not saying that this has happened. Because it obviously hasn't happened. No. Now you know that person as however you know that person, right?
Yeah.
But if they tell you, hey, look, Glasses, it will make me feel much better. It makes me, if you refer to me as this, if you refer to me as he, or you refer to me as my old name, it hurts. It fucks me up. And obviously we can't tell anybody how to feel.
Sure,
right?
Yeah, pain is pain.
Isn't that a minor inconvenience for you to make someone feel all right? And I'm not saying it's your job to make anyone feel all right.
Well, that's the thing, right? I would do what's ever convenient. I would never, just because as much as I'm a transphobe, right? Which I wouldn't walk up to Bruce, to Caitlyn, rather. I wouldn't call that, like, I'm not going out of my way to be like, oh, your mom named you Bruce, I'm gonna name you Bruce. I'm not.
Right.
Feel me? I just wouldn't even fuck with that person. Now, if it's one of my best friends, I'm gonna call him whatever he asking me to call him at, or she's ever asking me to call him at that point. But I would be uncomfortable. Why I'm uncomfortable is I don't quite know. I don't know. I'm being honest with you. I have no idea why. It's almost crazy because my fears is usually, I could, see why, but this one is weird. I'm not a homophobe at all. So when people call, I laugh because that don't mean nothing.
I think it's dope to just hear you say that, like, you're open to having, hey, look, this is how I feel, but I want to have a conversation with somebody from the community because. Yeah.
But that's what my podcast is all about. Feel me? I don't like to live in ignorance. It bothers me. I hate being afraid of that shit. I hate being afraid of anything. I love conquering my fears.
I think what we also have to understand, and what it's been harder for me to understand it recently, really till I had a conversation recently with one of my best friends, is not everything has to make sense. That makes sense?
No, that doesn't make sense.
Because
but see,
when you start trying to make everything make sense, and it's not a plight or something that you can identify with, and it just don't make sense to you, some shit just don't gotta make sense.
But I think, and that's where I think, as a thinking man, right, that's why I'm used to the world making sense. So when sometimes things happen that don't make sense, right, or out of my realm of understanding, right, I shy away.
That makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. But it also
now I get some people get angry and get that's
they
not
get
me.
hateful, they get violent, they get bigoted. You're like, yo, I'm gonna just shy away.
Yeah,
but I'm willing to have a conversation to help
and pursuing the idea, right? And pursuing the idea. The character Uncle Clifford. I don't know if that would be if Uncle Clifford's character, because I think the character is a man. But I don't know if that's referred to as a trans or a cross-dresser. I don't know the proper terminology.
I don't even know what that is.
So Uncle Clifford is a character from P Valley.
I don't even know what P Valley.
He owns a strip club, right? That's
is that the? I heard about it. It's in Mississippi based. It's a black strip club. I heard about it. It's on Stars. It's fire.
It's fire.
Okay.
But this character is one of the best layered characters, right, for that community. See, that's a great character written for that community. That character is fucking excellently written. And that's what I'm asking. And that's what human beings need. You know what I mean? Okay, it's cool to have some that play into stereotypes, but then give something that people can really understand with and be empathetic towards. Just because you exist, see, naturally the act of being a human being, right, is to be empathetic, being humane. But it don't come with every model that's born on this earth.
Right.
So you have to give them figures and characters. That's why I don't mind them implicating, things in adult films about, because it'll make you like I said, Uncle Clifford, like that shit helped me a lot. Like I'm like, damn, that motherfucker cool. I fuck with that. I need to have a conversation with that motherfucker. He might actually be this character.
Even if you think like, even think about Omar Little in The Wire.
I never watched The Wire.
Oh, that's another conversation.
I know, right? I never watched it. But this character is written so well.
That's crazy.
This character is written so well that, you know what I mean? That's the point I'm saying. I think we can use entertainment and a lot of things to our advantage, but we have to be careful with how we do it. We just can't throw anything out. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. So I respect everybody being, mindful of what they're doing.
Right.
Especially in some of these places that make a lot of people uncomfortable. Just shove shit at people because it's me, I have the right to exist. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just tough. That's not the wisest way to do it. If I met a racist white family, I'm not gonna just walk in the house and watermelon chicken and be the nigga they want me to be.
Right.
See, I'm gonna walk in the house and be who I am. See, that's what I was saying specifically about anything, right? It's one thing to have these big stupid ass glasses on. It's another thing if I walk in this motherfucker with all these stupid ass blue bandanas around my neck, wrist, elbow, over exaggerating. I'm a Crip. You know this is Crip. There are things I could do, subtle things I could do that you'll know this Crip. Maybe I get it in the side of my head. You know, these glasses over the top all the time becomes corny and clowny.
Right.
So, but I digress. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. You know, being honest with who you are. Like I'm not gonna fight no fucking trans person because they trans. Like what the fuck I look like? I'm not fighting nobody. I'm fucking. You know what I mean? I'm not fighting nobody that ain't did something wrong to me or deserve an ass kicking.
No, I mean, listen, man. I think your honesty is great, and I think that more people who feel the way you feel, because we obviously know there's a lot of people who feel that way, and I don't think it's necessarily rooted in a place of hate. It's rooted in a place of misunderstanding and lack of, you know, experience or education or whatever it is. The fact that like you're open to having those conversations. And
sure, yeah, man. Shit, I mean,
that shit is big.
I think it's normal for thinking, man. Everybody else ain't got time to think. People just really living their life on autopilot. I'm a thinking person. I like to think. I like to figure it out. I like to be comfortable. It could be a lack of exposure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, right? There's kids that are being raised in communities that are probably fully white, right?
But that's been my point forever. That have no idea about black experiences.
That doesn't make them racist.
No, not at all.
It makes them racially ignorant, probably.
Yeah, but that's
think
my
about
point.
this. Think about this, right?
But that's why I say I feel the same way about the word racism. It's thrown around entirely too much. Everything to describe everything is racist. It's like just like everything that's thrown around is homophobic, transphobic.
Right.
Bro, you got to use that word much better. Like every community needs to use these words much better, because to mislabel people is actually just kind of promoting the same hate you going against.
Well, like think about this. I grew up in Phoenix around, I mean, my immediate friend group was African American and Mexican, right? But that was really the two minorities in my life that I was raised around. So I never really experienced a lot of culture outside of black culture, Mexican culture, or, you know, my parents, you know what I'm saying? But like we went to New York earlier this year, and we're in a part of Brooklyn where it was a Hasidic Jew community. And that's something I never experienced. So I was like truly
Hasidic. Is that like out here, like
Hasidic with the hats and
so that's like out there Miracle Mile?
Probably, yeah.
Sure.
So the homie we were with was like, yeah, they got their own police force. They don't on certain days they don't touch a phone, they don't touch buttons, like it's, you know, and they're like, yo, they got their own ambulances. You could be on their street and get stabbed and be bleeding to death, and their ambulance won't pick you up. And it was just telling me like a rundown of like the Hasidic Jew culture and shit. And I was enamored. I was like so intrigued, because this is something I never even knew was a thing. Like we're in New York, and I'm like, this shit is ill.
Shit, I've been to New York, and it was Spanish towns that was racist.
But you know what I'm saying? Like what I'm saying is like just in general, like you were saying earlier, like, yo, you can't, you lack of exposure was the word you used, right? So in the same way that we probably know that there's kids being raised in white towns who don't know any black people. That's just their, you know, they might have to go to college. They might have to, you know,
if they're blessed enough.
Yeah, go live their life. But some of them kids will never get out of that fucking podunk town.
Man, I done been on tour with 6ix9ine and been to towns, and you could tell a dude told me I was the third black person he ever met.
Which is crazy.
You would think in the 2000s, that's just a crazy concept. But again, it's one of those things where I don't waste my time trying to figure out, you know, I'm not trying to change the world. I'm figuring out how to master myself and help as many people as possible.
And that's a beautiful thing. Hey, interrupting the interview to tell you about our good friends at Odd Socks. Now, as you can see, I always have my Odd Socks on, baby. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, shout out to my bony ass knees. Listen, go to oddsocksofficial.com. They got all the craziest socks. These are the outsiders. You know what I'm saying? They got SpongeBob. They got Cheech and Chong. Listen, Breaking Bad, Godfather, whatever you need, they got it. And now they have underwear. That's right. You can get your Odd Socks underwear. The boxer briefs are the best underwear that you could ever fit on your ass. Trust me when I tell you. These are Chucky draws. What you know about Top Ramen underwear, all right? Go to oddsocksofficial.com, use the keyword Bootleg Kev at checkout, and you'll save 20% off of your order. Underwear, masks, slippers, socks, whatever you need, they got it. Oddsocksofficial.com, keyword Bootleg Kev at checkout, save 20%. you mentioned the Crip thing, and I wanted to talk to you about this because I know that you're one of the more highly respected guys I've ever come across. Whenever I say, "Oh yeah, I know G Malone," people like, you know what I'm saying? You're
sure.
From all walks of life.
If it was possible to be respected in this culture,
the gangster shit, and also like this fucking guy, and you've done Gathering of the Juggalos and all that shit. Yeah, you've been. I mean, sure. You were signed to Sub Noise Records for something. Yeah.
Madison.
But I wanted to get your take on 6ix9ine, and recently. Wack, because Wack on my show said that he didn't feel like 6ix9ine was a snitch. He said he felt like he was a civilian who told the truth.
He's lying. So 6ix9ine's a snitch.
So I wanted to kind of get your take, because I know you and I have had a discussion about the snitch shit, and it's essentially, what do you define as that?
Okay, so the flaw in Wack's discussion with that is he's a civilian, right? So on the West Coast, being a civilian means, I guess in theory, you're not a part of a gang. You're not a part of the army, the infantry, whatever that is, right? Based off of the real word. But everywhere else, that's rooted in criminal. Like snitching has nothing to do with gangbanging. Snitching is rooted in being a criminal. Omerta and all these codes go back before Crips and Bloods or any gangs of black culture existed in this country. Not snitching is a thing in criminality. Like no criminal will respect him. No criminal, period, will respect him. And I just think Wack's not a criminal. Yet what he's saying is obviously not true. He knows that boy is a rat. That boy is a rat. You know he's a rat. It's only you're not a rat if you're not a criminal. Like if I did something to somebody that's not a criminal, that's what they're supposed to do, inform the police. If you do something to a criminal, he's not supposed to. We all know this.
So, because Wack's argument is rooted in whether or not 6ix9ine is a gang member.
He was a convicted pervert. He was a drug dealer before he ever met the gang.
So you're saying, I mean, and I don't disagree with you, that the snitch stigma or the snitch definition, what makes someone a snitch is not rooted in gangbanging.
No.
It's not rooted in whether or not you're a Crip or a Blood or whatever. It's rooted in
being a criminal.
Criminal world.
Yeah, and he's a committed criminal. He's devoted to the lifestyle of being a criminal. He just told, it's nothing to, man, that spin is a good spin for the average, you know what I'm saying, the average fan out there. You know what I mean? It's a great spin for them, but if you really in the life, man, he's a rat. He didn't know he a rat.
You think Wack knows he's a rat?
Yes. Wack got paid.
You think Wack got paid?
I know Wack got paid.
To do the interview?
Wack got paid. Wack is one of the smartest motherfuckers I met when it comes to this music shit.
I agree. Wack is a brilliant guy.
Feel me? He got paid. He might have got 2 or 3 checks. I wouldn't be surprised if it come out he got a check because they talking about promoting the fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Cuz got a check from, Spotify for doing this shit with academics. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a check from Lucian and Elliott for promoting their artists and trying to establish his brand. Wack got paid.
It does feel like now 6ix9ine, if he were to release music right now or try to get the music popping again, it does feel like that the Wack thing helped a lot as far as making it easier for, like you said, surface level consumers to swallow.
To believe he has some level of credibility.
Integrity or credibility.
And he has none. He's a horrible human being.
Do you think
6ix9ine is Snitch9 is one of the worst human beings I've ever encountered. Like Hitler bad. He's horrible. He literally is manipulative. He's one of the type of people that you don't want to be around. He's literally full of shit. He will do anything to have attention, right? Anything to have attention. And he's manipulative. He knows people aren't that bright, so he's taking advantage of it. Cuz might be like Satan himself. Feel me?
Wow.
He's manipulating the Mexican community by saying, "Oh, he's Mexican." Bro, that dude is full of shit. He's a fucking rat. He's a rat because he didn't want to deal with the crimes he had other people do for him.
Yeah, he paid other people.
He paid them. It has nothing to do with gang. They didn't do it for free. That's how much they didn't respect him. He charged them. If I call my homeboy to do something, they gonna do it for me. Period. And I wouldn't call him.
Right.
He paid them. He was a criminal before them. He'll be a criminal after them. Right now, he's a working informant. Like I'm looking at the stuff 21 Savage and them doing, talking about fighting this man. What are y'all thinking? Man, this man will get you put in prison right now. This ain't over. You don't just snitch one time on a case that big and get that little time. He's a permanent informant. He's going to tell for 20 or 30 years. That man is a rat. Wack know he a rat. Everybody know he a rat.
Do you, because look, at the end of the day, I think Wack had a conversation with him in which he held him as accountable as we've seen someone hold him accountable. I don't know if you watched the interview.
I wasn't there. They be having clubhouses where I wouldn't be in the room with him.
Listen, I
won't consume his I won't consume his content. I won't do nothing. I gave him a chance initially. I fucked with him. I listened to his music. I didn't care all that. Right, he had some great records. Yeah. But bro, once you are a criminal and you break that code, again, it's a sense of ethics. You have no real ethics as a human being. Feel me? Like, I'm just not fucking with you. You a fucking.
Well, let me ask you this with Wack. Like, obviously, like you said, he's one of the more brilliant guys. I mean, I got love for Wack. Wack's always been solid with me. Do you think that he made a mistake by having that conversation with 6ix9ine? And at least I don't think he's aligning himself with him in any capacity. I think they obviously have an open line of communication. I think Wack held him accountable in that interview, all but essentially saying you're a snitch. Even though he said
he know he's a damn snitch. Like, that music is corny, he know he's a snitch.
So my question to you is, like, do you think Wack made a mistake even having any sort of, conversation with that guy?
It depends on what he values. I wouldn't have no conversation with that motherfucker for no amount of money. Wack might value something different. You know what I mean? It could be money. Maybe he never plans to be on Crenshaw Boulevard another day in his life, or he's not going, or at the street races, or in some level of street activity. Maybe he's transitioning to a business world. None of the niggas that I fuck with on no street level would ever do it. Even the ones that's in this business, they would never do that. I don't give a fuck what money. None of us fucking with that rat, period, at all. Feel me? So did Wack make a mistake? That's up to him. He had to value whatever he benefited from doing it. But he knows that what he's saying is definitely, he know he's a snitch. He know the boy is a rat. He know he a rat. It's obvious he's a rat. He ratted in front of everybody on paperwork. He's a rat. It's obvious he's a rat. You know what I'm saying? So Wack would probably be the person to ask if he made a mistake. I don't think he should have did it. I think Wack making great money. But then I'm not in the man's pockets. I don't know what's important to him. I don't know. I mean, even knowing him, I never sat down and say, man, what's important to you is
so
having a solid reputation.
Even if, like, let's say Wack truly does believe he's a civilian and doesn't feel like there's no way, you don't think that? Not
117%, he does not believe none of that. It's not about that. Wack no snitching has nothing to do with gangs. Wack is as smart, if not smarter, than I am. He knows why he's a snitch. But he also understands how to spin a story. He's really good at marketing. He's really, good at what he does. But he know that boy is a snitch. And because he is representing Pyru, because he is representing blood, I don't think he should have did it at all. Because it's a bad look for the culture. Feel me? Completely. In my mind, but Wack is one individual that represents Wack when it's said and done. As much as we all want to hold each other accountable, I'm going to keep being a representation for the streets and all of the people that look to me. And I'd never sit down with that rat. And if I'm like Meek and them on the phone holding up, I'm blowing. Feel me? Nigga, fuck all that shit. I'm getting away from you. Feel me? Or if we got an issue, I'm finna get cracking on you. It ain't nothing personal, bro. You just a fucking raggedy ass, evil ass, fucking Satan ass, bitch ass nigga. You's a fucking rat.
I don't disagree with you on the kid's character. I do think that what he kind of did was expose a lot of hip hop to be exactly that, entertainment. And I'm not talking about with the Wack thing. I mean, just in general, like when he got out of jail and he seems to be moving around rather nicely with
He's not.
I mean, I know people like
they overselling it.
No. I know. So like he be with a lot of YouTubers.
I've heard what you're talking about. I've heard that, right? But he's a really sinister kid. He's not a kid. He's a really sinister,
grown ass man,
evil ass man. You know what I'm saying? He's a really sinister, evil ass man. He's really sinister. He's really evil. Nothing about him is cool. Nothing about him is good. Him dying would be the best thing that happened to his daughter. Like, that's how fucked up of a motherfucker he is. Like, he's a horrible human being.
That's crazy.
His family would be better off without him. He's that horrible. Like, y'all don't see it. It's hidden behind all the bullshit and this rap shit, or, he's exposed. It's not. he's evil. Like, he's a different level of sinister, and he's a coward, and he's not willing to be held accountable. He's doing shit where he know people can't get to him. He goes places in the middle of times when he know people there. He's not walking up on people. And if he's walking up on them now, it's because he has the support of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. That's it. Nothing about him is good. His daughter would be better off without him. Like, I hope, you feel me, eventually he understands how fucked up of a fucking human being he is. He's a piece of shit. Fucking rat. And Wack knows this. Wack knows. Wack know this. He know.
Right.
He know. They know. We all know.
You've had a storied career in terms of obviously your come up, some of the labels you've been with, some of the tours you've been on. I think I first had got hip to you on one of the early Black Wall Street mixtapes. Sounds about right. I feel like that was
that's how I started. Rest in peace, 4 Cent.
And then obviously, from there, you end up with Cash Money.
Yeah.
Cash Money is a place, and Birdman is a guy who seems to be, he's a legend, first of all.
Hands down.
When it comes to just his tree is crazy.
Yeah, probably the GOAT.
When it comes to his tree, it's either his tree or Dre's tree.
You got to go, yeah. Dre and Russ and Stunner probably got the trees of all trees.
And so he's also a guy who's had some sort of like, polarized love-hate thing going on the last 10 years or so when it comes to like him, what's perceived as him maybe doing artists wrong.
Sure.
Signing shitty contracts, whatever the case is, right? How was your experience on Cash Money?
Great. It was, and I'm not saying it like I have no fear, no motherfucker.
Right.
But the dude was great to me. I learned more shit than I ever knew about the business. I learned a ton, man. Like, it was awesome to me. Like, it was the greatest.
Now, let me ask
ever.
you this, because you also, correct me if I'm wrong, were you also who banging as well?
Yeah, same time, Mac 10.
So, because I remember Mac 10 had Banger Ball, which is one of the most slept on albums.
Yeah, I like that record.
That album was fucking crazy.
Yeah, that album was dope.
And he was on Cash Money. Was that who kind of introduced you into the Cash Money fold?
100%.
Was Mac 10?
Yeah, 117%. Mac 10 did.
I feel like Mac 10, we don't give him enough flowers, man.
I agree.
Because Mac 10, I feel like he's not as active. We don't see him on like interviews like we see a lot of these other legends.
He ain't making a fool out of himself.
Right.
You see his Vlad interview, he was like, yeah. He wouldn't answer no question. He was like, yeah, was that what they said? Vlad had a question. Well, they said y'all shot up 37 people. That's what they said? I was like,
he knows what's up.
He know what to do.
But so your time on Cash Money was solid. Like, what was like
amazing
so far in your rap career, right? Because you've done records with everybody. What has been one time where you can remember as like your fondest memory as a fan of this shit?
While being in it?
While being in it. Where you almost were like, damn, look who I'm standing next to. Or damn, look who I'm on the stage with. Or damn, look who I'm on this record with. Like, what was that moment for you?
Just recently with Raphael Sadiq.
Wow.
I know, that's crazy, right? So Scarface probably is my favorite rapper. So I take that back, right? I'm not taking it back. It's 3 moments. I can't do one because now It's been so long. It's been 15 years. So it's 3 specific times. The first time is when I was in Jay-Z's office at Def Jam, and he was like talking about how dope I was, and he wanted to sign me. And he was like, yo, you one of the best I ever heard do it from the West. That shit, I couldn't even talk during the whole meeting. Like my nigga D, one of my best friends, had to talk for me because I had consumed that much Hove. I mean, to where I'm living my life slanging drugs to this nigga music, and one day I'm sitting in his office and he telling me how great I am. Like, that shit fucked me up. That was tough. Like, you know what I mean? That was like tough. Not signing to him was tough. Right. You know what I'm saying? That was one of them. The second one of them, probably, okay, so then that's where the Raphael Sadiq comes in. I just did a record with him probably within a year ago. And, I was talking to him. Richie Rich hooked me up with him. And he gave me my number, and we was talking, we chopping up. He's like, yeah, I know you is. I fuck with your shit. You tough. And I sent him a record, and just how helpful he was. He was explaining certain things. That shit was like crazy. It's Raphael Sadiq. It's Tony. It's my mom. You know, it's kind of like one of my mom's favorite bands, Tony Tone. I grew up to this shit, and this is Raphael Sadiq. Like, Still Ray is my shit for R&B. Feel me? So that shit was like crazy. Even now, sometimes I be like, I got his number in my phone. I'll be like, damn, Raphael Sadiq. And the third one is not really me, right? The third one is, and I don't think people really know, but it's when J-Rock went gold. Right?
Why was that such a big deal?
Because I know where we came from. I know how much shit we went through.
And J-Rock, for people who don't know, like, there was an entire generation of LA hip hop that was kind of shunned.
Exactly.
And you were, and he was a part of it, you were a part of it, and so many others were a part of it. Yeah.
And
because forever the only dude who really had any attention or love was Game.
Yeah. We had Dr. Dre production. Honestly, it matters. The producer is the key. You know what I'm saying? But J-Rock when I seen when they had put out a press release that it went gold. So the first record that he had the record that was with Future and Kendrick. Mm-hmm. Right? Now
on the soundtrack.
That's platinum, right?
Right.
But then when Win happened and I seen a press release go out, like it was like a part of me that just felt like weight came off, like my shoulders. And it had shit to do with me.
Right.
I mean, it was just like, damn, man, like look what we had to go through to get here. Like it's fucking me up now.
Like how many years later?
You know what I mean? Like, and like my nigga went through a lot, man. We don't even talk as much as we used to. We don't see each other as much as we used to. Mm-hmm. But like that shit meant so much to me. Like that shit was so important. I had to see that happen. I think about P and certain homies all the time. Problem,
right.
Bishop, all the shit we went through just to try to bring the West Coast together and to be shunned.
Shit, Nipsey.
Yeah, Nip, man. Like that shit, it bothers me that I can't see him get his shit. Everybody finally showing him love, and it's like y'all waited till this man was gone.
Now I remember having interviews with Nipsey where around the time where he was really not fucking with the fact that Dre was not co-signing all these young.
We all went through that.
Yeah,
I mean, and we knew how important. We just didn't know why, but we figured out why it was so important. But honestly, man, that J-Rock getting that gold plaque for Win, like that for sure is the most thirst, and I celebrated it to myself. I mean, I wrote a verse about it on somebody else's feature and talked about how hard it was for all of us and how it finally happened for him. You know what I'm saying? That shit is like one of the greatest things. It's like one of the greatest stories in hip hop that's not told. How much shit he went through. If y'all know how much shit he went through, man, and how cold it was for us and how niggas shut us down and shut us out and didn't do the best.
People don't realize like that label was started on J-Rock's back.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? People don't understand the different, like he was on Warner Brothers, and then they don't know how to handle nobody on the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? So that didn't work out. And then they tried the Strange Music thing, put him on tour with Tech. You know what I mean? Like there's so much.
And when it all came down, it was right there. It was all sitting right there. Mm-hmm. And so just to watch that happen was like, man, it was special. Even every time I hear the commercial, like I just smile. That's
a song that's gonna live forever.
Yeah, and it
sinks in movies,
and I hear it and sings in commercials.
Center.
I just smile so big, and then nobody know what I'm thinking, but I'm like, man, thank God.
Yeah,
feel me? Thank God.
What was your most successful record? Certified, was it? What was your biggest record as far as like?
So Certified is somewhere close to gold. I would say That Good. I think That Good is my greatest record. It may not be the most that has sold, right? But it's the one to
produced
me.
by DJ Head.
Exactly. First beat.
Mm-hmm.
And but it was the one we built from the ground up. And to me, it was the first time one of my records was celebrated.
It was a great club record.
Yeah, no knock to Akon and Certified. Obviously, that's a fantastic tune. Like,
you know what song I really loved was the one with the what was the name of that group that was on the hook?
Oh,
I get money or I get dough. I get dough.
Yeah, that was so dope. The Cataracts.
I get dough.
But the most important, obviously, is Tupac Must Die. Like that's the one. That's when I finally put my own brick in hip hop and it had my name on it. Before that, like the whole culture, they couldn't unify behind me for no moment when it comes to music. You know what I mean? And that became that moment where it's like, bam, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? So now I feel like I'm, really That's why I got shit to do still. I got shit to make crack. It's on.
No, I know you're sitting on. I mean, you haven't put out a ton of music recently.
I'm just starting.
You've been putting out singles again?
Yeah, I'm just starting.
But I just mean in terms of like your output hasn't been crazy. No, but the songs have mattered.
Yeah, but it's finna go up now.
Me and you feel the same way about one album, and that is Doggy Style.
Sure. I
think Doggy Style is, in my life, the most important album ever.
It's definitely the greatest hip hop of all time.
I put it around 2 or 3.
I put it number 1 clearly.
But Doggy Style like changed my life.
What's funny is I wasn't even a fan of Doggy Style like that. That's literally probably 12 years old or 13 years old.
Bro, I was 5, and my grandma got that tape on accident in the mail. Remember, you used to be able to go in the magazine?
I remember that.
So she had like 15 tapes delivered to her house, and one of them was Doggy Style. I don't know how I got in there, but my grandma was old as fuck. She didn't
fucking Snoop Dogg. That's how I fucking got it.
It's a fucking cartoon cover. She don't know what it is.
Fucking Snoop Dogg.
So she
everybody fucking.
So she gives me Doggy Style, and I had already had like Boys to Men, some Boys to Men shit, right? But Doggy Style, I'm 5. I'm in kindergarten. And I'm at night in my bed with my little Walkman.
This is horrible parenting.
Yeah. So this was funny.
That's why you go.
I had already learned the entire fucking album by heart. And then my mom had heard me listening to it and freaked out and took the tape from me. So I already knew it. And then I found it and took it back. And yeah.
What's funny is I have no personal connection to Doggy Style.
I just love that album. Is so important. I remember the first time I ever met Snoop, I'm like, bro, you changed my life with Dog. You don't understand. Like you low key turned me out as a 5-year-old.
I have no personal connection to Doggy Style.
It's just such I think it's a perfect album, and I think Snoop Dogg is like, I feel like somehow he's still underappreciated.
Well, he's the greatest hip hop artist ever. He's the greatest hip hop artist ever with the greatest hip hop album ever, and again, it's tough. It's in your face. You know what I mean? Snoop is like, I was just telling my partner, and I say this a lot, Snoop is like McDonald's, man. Yeah. He came out, you feel me? Big Mac, he had the gangster rap, like this fast food. It's the Big Mac. It's gangster rap. And since then, he's been able to deliver pimping and chicken nuggets. You know what I'm saying? He's been able to deliver gospel albums and parfaits and
reggae
all kind of reggae shit and all kind of shit and everything in the world.
I think he's the biggest. I think Snoop. When you say he's the greatest,
that's why I say greatest.
I understand that
because
he's the biggest. He's like you said, he's like McDonald's because nobody doesn't know who Snoop is. I don't care how old you are.
Exactly.
My 90-year-old lady knows who Snoop Dogg is.
Exactly.
Nobody has ever been in his.
They know him because he's a fucking rapper.
Yep.
They don't know him because he does this, that. Oh, the rapper Snoop. It's Snoop, man, and I've been hearing a lot of slack about that. Like people, I don't have no personal.
People are crazy.
I don't have no personal connection to Doggy Style. That's not like I heard. Who am I and the songs? Like okay, cool. But when I was coming to my own, feel me, I'm more of a baby dog food. You know what I mean? Or the shadiest one. I'm a baby of those products.
I know you love the shadiest one.
Yeah, like with a whole nother regards. But Doggy Style is what hip hop is all about. Like when Kool Herc and them threw that party on August 11th, I think it's 1973. You know what I mean? And it was a party. That's Snoop Dogg's music. You came to the most cultural phenomenon of a party ever with that project.
Yeah, I think Snoop has not only that album, but I just think in terms of like figuring out, like everyone who does music, their goal should be to figure out what Snoop figured out. And that's how to, no matter what's going on, like Snoop don't need a record on the radio to be relevant. Snoop is never not going to be relevant.
Never.
And how do you do, think about it. I was at home on Peacock watching this motherfucker literally throwing on. I'm not watching the Olympics. I've been watching the
People
Snoop.
talk about the Olympics.
This
motherfucker was throwing a javelin, cuz, and that.
Bro, he got him doing. He's got an Olympic NBC jacket on, talking about how the horse was crip walking.
And he's cousin.
That's what I'm saying. He's cussing.
He's
yes. No, he's talking about the horse. Man, that horse is crip walking.
I seen him on Channel 11, cousin Christina Devine. Look, Christina, cuz I was like, God damn, that's really what greatness looked like. This motherfucker's crazy. But again, man, when you really step back and you look at that, like I said, you go back to August 11, 1973, it's a party. It's Dr. Dre DJing, it's Snoop on the mic.
I think the only artist I've seen that might have a chance to be that big, like in 30 years, is maybe Drake, but I don't think Drake has the personality and the chemistry that Snoop has.
Drake doesn't represent culture. That's the problem. You know what I mean? Like Snoop is the phenomenon because he's the centerpiece and the face of probably Black America's greatest, maybe not as celebrated, but most famous culture.
Gang culture.
Man, he is the face of it.
Right.
Crips
and he was the face
all over the world.
He was the face of it during a time when the allure was at an all-time high.
Well, think about it, right? We talked about this the other day. Colors is the initial exposure at the highest level, right? You move forward, you get Boys in the Hood, which is a film about it that does 70 million, right? In 91, and then here go these niggas. You know, Dr. Dre and Snoop, it's like they picked up Boys in the Hood and just like, let's finish it off. And Snoop just took it to a level. You know, Ice-T gangster rap, and then Snoop just finished it. He's the face. Drake's situation is different because he's just a pop star. Drake has always been a pop star. It's like
Snoop didn't start as a pop star.
No. And even now, as much as he's a pop star,
he's still not a pop star.
He's still not a pop star.
He's still Snoop Dogg.
He's still Snoop. Like he ascends past some of these things.
Like you said, some shit don't make sense. And Snoop, I like if you were to say like Snoop would be, if we think 30 years down the line, that Snoop would be hosting shows with Martha Stewart or hosting the Olympics.
Nah, no way.
You would just, if 1994, if someone would have told you that, you would have said, what?
If you would have told me he was going to be out of prison, I thought he was finna go to fucking prison for murder. So again, man, Snoop is just a different anomaly, man. Everything, Suge doesn't get enough credit. Dr. Dre doesn't get enough credit. You still got probably the greatest vision with 6ix9ine, who understood the vision for what was going on. Right, and you got the greatest people, the greatest person probably at the time or period making hip hop records. You know what I mean? And they put together August 11th, 1973, the greatest party the West Coast ever had. This is the greatest party we ever offered the world. Like you came to this party and Snoop is on the mic and Warren G is on the couch. It's the greatest party you've ever been to. You hear it. They got the liquor. They got a special liquor that they drank. You drank gin and juice. You got the lingo. It's the culture is there.
Yeah.
Feel me? It's the greatest party you could go to. And no matter what we think about hip hop, it's still rooted in a party.
Well, it's funny because you and I have had an argument about, you said Drake's not hip hop.
No.
And I said, listen, Drake makes hip hop music. And you said, well, Drake, there's no culture with Drake.
I think Drake makes rap records.
Okay.
And I understand the concept of, and the reason I really kind of didn't even care about this conversation no more is because I never thought of it as a derogatory thing. Like I never thought it as a derogatory thing to classify things. I'm back to the same point of I don't care how you want me to look at you. Let's talk about the classification of things so we have some sense of things that we can share versus we creating a world where everybody can be anything they want. I don't like that.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? I don't think that's wise. I think that's really ignorant, and it's going to come into a place of
it's going to breed a lot of people wasting their time. It's going to breed a lot of people
that's confused because we're already confused. Yeah. We already come into this world confused, and you're allowing me to exist in a space of confusion, right? Which means the suicide rate is going to go up. But with Drake specifically, hip hop is culture. It's lingo, it's style, it's cuisine, it's fashion. Everything about it is the flavor. Feel me? The flavor. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like soul food. It's like yes, like the concept of fried chicken initially could be soul food, right? That don't mean Kentucky Fried Chicken sells soul food. They got greens. That don't mean they sell soul food. They got all this stuff. That don't mean they sell soul food. Rap was popularized by hip hop, but it is not exclusive. Debbie Harry was rapping in the fucking 70s.
So you're essentially saying Drake makes rap music, but he's not hip hop.
No, I think that he's not a cultured rapper. He has no culture. He doesn't represent any culture. Drake is a fantastic rapper who makes fantastic rap songs that turn into pop songs. And he can sing his fucking ass off the way he sings. He can carry a note only the way he can. He makes fantastic records. Nonstop is one of my favorite fucking records, period. Feel me? But again, to compare him to somebody that's carrying the burden of culture on their back, like a Jay-Z or a Snoop, these dudes represent entire realms of worlds of shit. I mean, ideals, all of this. They represent it with the way they talk, the way they speak, everything about what they're doing. They're walking with more. Drake is and I don't want to simplify his plight because I'm sure he had his own struggles. But this is a kid that come from Nickelodeon. That's a rapper. What, you know what I mean? It's just a different plight. This nigga came from a dope spot. This nigga came from, feel me, Long Beach Crippin'. The plights are different. It's like calling, you know, man, it's just crazy. But again, I never thought of
the KFC analogies. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I never thought of it as a negative connotation. I didn't think.
Could Drake be considered one of the greatest of all time then in your eyes?
Artist?
Rapper, MC.
Yeah, as a rapper, sure, hell yeah. That motherfucker rap. But again, hip hop is its own special thing.
Right.
So like, he could be one of the greatest rappers. He could rap his ass off. That motherfucker could rap. He could rap.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, people talk about writing and all kind of shit. But
yeah, I mean, listen, I think that that's a discussion that's been beat over the head. I think Drake. I'm confident Drake can rap.
It's not. It's obvious cuz can rap.
Yeah, I mean, now.
Fucking Stevie Wonder can see.
Would I have liked him to have replied to Pusha T? Sure.
Yeah, that's different.
He didn't want that smoke.
You don't go to the culture. It's different when you go into the root of culture.
But he got Meek Mill up out of here for a couple years.
Yeah, but Meek is, and as much as Meek is, that's different. Meek is somebody who literally, his whole story is, I was broke, now I'm rich.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Push is different. Push.
I told everybody, I said that ain't Meek Mill. Y'all better chill.
That's different.
And all these white kids who don't know about the clips and Pusha T, y'all don't know what you're signing up for.
And he knew if he gave a record, he would give life to that record. You don't want people to hear that record. So the best way to do it is just back away. Like, oh, that way you don't, because if you mention him, people going to hear that. And when they hear that, violence is violence, and they gonna know like that shit is savagery, cause that nigga. But Push is the product of culture. That's savagery.
Yeah, Push is one of my favorite rappers ever. So
Push is some shit, man. That shit is fucking.
I was like chomping at the bit to.
And I'm one of those guys that was cheering for Drake in the Meek Mill battle. And,
me too. At the time,
I just wanted him to fight back. Like, don't let these dudes pick on you. Stand up. Like, get cracking.
Yeah.
So when he dropped back to back,
I didn't appreciate like Meek's whole entire Twitter shit, and I just thought
I didn't mind.
I just thought he stepped out of character a lot, and at the end
to find out it's his character, right? But look,
come to find out he was just being himself.
He was just being himself. At first, he was
some things haven't changed.
Exactly. So when Drake came with fucking back to back, I remember like, ooh, but you know what? It might have fucked Drake up because he turned into a super tough guy after that.
Yeah.
And then, but then Pusha T was like, hold up, it's different.
Yeah. So. Push is one of those guys where you're like, the same thing with, and Kendrick's not a gangster rapper, but nobody wants to with Kendrick.
That's the product of culture.
Nobody like you notice, like I'm like, nobody wants smoke with Pusha T. Nobody wants smoke with Kendrick Lamar. And nobody really wants smoke with Freddie Gibbs either. Because Fred has had some, I dared people to say his name on records. There's like certain artists where you're like, Royce the 5'9", you don't want that problem. You don't want the Royce the 5'9" problem on a record.
Lupe was on him too. I was teasing him too.
Yeah, but they're friends. They got a podcast together.
But what's funny is, look, so you don't want problems with the root of culture.
Yeah.
Like when you see somebody represents a bunch of people, like they represent a lifestyle, they represent the hopes and dreams, you don't want to fuck with that person. And some of these dudes really represent that. And Dot being one. I mean, it's some guys that represent a lot.
Yeah, you'll just notice certain people like, just you don't say their name. Yeah. I will say this. One of those guys who I thought would just be a bad idea to step to was Eminem, but I thought MGK got him. And I don't think he got him lyrically, but I think he won the battle.
I don't even think Eminem has really good. My favorite Eminem diss record is the one with you, MGK.
My favorite shit was the Shit Hits the Fan.
Like all that shit.
I love that era when there was just a lot of mixtape shit of him talking about Ja Rule.
I hated that shit. I love
that shit.
That was one of my favorite. The only good diss records on Ja was Fifth.
Oh yeah.
Everything else I could have
just the Eminem
but the Eminem record where he did MGK, that was one of my favorite because you know why? He had fun with it.
I just think that MGK won because it was too close.
Well, MGK had a great record.
MGK had a great record, and the fact that we even thought about it means MGK won.
Well,
because Eminem is by the way, MGK is not he's a good rapper. You know what I'm saying? Now, he's a rock star.
He's not
now.
even in the
but he's not in the same arena or world as Eminem as an MC.
But the difference is a great song versus a great rap. Feel me?
Also, the subject matter was like, yeah, that's
made a great record.
Same thing. Think about. So when Pusha put out his freestyle against Drake, Pusha wasn't even trying to rap. Yeah. He was just he went to hit him up right with that first freestyle. Yeah. That's why I couldn't wait to see the second record, because I'm like, oh, this is just him just being extremely disrespectful at hitting record. He hasn't even applied himself as an MC yet.
Yeah, no, it's different. Again, the root of culture. I like the Eminem diss to MGK. Like, I thought the diss itself, I was my favorite diss. I thought he had a lot of fun. I think he MC'd his ass off. But again, competing with a record is different. And MGK, that's probably MGK's best record too.
It's not. I mean, I love MGK. He's been putting out some rock shit lately that reminds me of like Blink-182 and shit. So I'm like, hey, this reminds me of high school.
He never was bad. Eastside was cool. He had some cool joints, but that one is probably his greatest record. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel the same way about Nas. I think Ether is Nas' greatest record.
I hate that beat.
You hate the beat?
Yeah.
That beat is fucking fire.
Ron Browse.
What's your favorite diss track?
Ever? The Bitch in You by Common.
Favorite or greatest?
My favorite. What's your favorite? Favorite, not greatest. Favorite. I think the greatest is Hit 'Em Up.
I love No Vaseline.
That's probably the greatest.
Yeah, No Vaseline is crazy.
That's a tough record to fuck with. My favorite diss record. Damn.
Honestly, the greatest is probably Back to Back though, because that still gets played on the radio and in the club.
Yeah, it's different too. That's a monster.
Talking about just like a record for playability.
Favorite diss record. Damn, that's some good diss. You know what? I won't lie, and this probably gonna give me some shit. But Dollars and Cents, DJ Quick.
Oh man,
when
he said EIHT, should I continue? You left out the G because the G ain't in you.
That record was fire. Fire.
I asked Aid about that. I said, when you heard that line, did you at least like? Because that line was crazy.
What did he say?
He said EIHT, but should I continue? You left out the G because the G ain't in you.
What did A say?
Oh no, he was like, yeah, no, that shit was hard. That was a good record.
Hard, Tom. That one was like, and I liked 8. I like 8 still, but it was like, fuck.
Nah, that shit was crazy.
It had to be that Dollars and Cents.
Dollars and Cents is legendary. Shout out to Quick, another guy.
Second is Takeover. And people don't talk about Takeover.
Well, you know why I don't think it's because it's not a full diss record. There's lines on it.
Well, he got at a lot of people on Takeover.
No, but sonically, I think it's probably my favorite. I think it's the beat is so good. Ether was great because I'm a Nas fan before I'm a J fan.
Ether was like the tidal wave, bro.
Ether was like Hit 'Em Up.
My boy D.
It was like fuck Jay-Z. It was just like
that shit was
dick sucking lips.
Yeah, you can't beat that type of energy. I was teasing my boy. My boy's a super duper Nas fan, and I'm a super at this time Hov fan. I'm fucking with Hov. When Takeover came out on the Blueprint, and I was just playing it over. He was in the car. I was like, yeah, your boy don't want none of this smoke. And Ether drop, I was like, fucking Christ. Yeah. Shit, man.
That Ether, man.
That shit is a part of the culture. That record is a part of the culture. That title, that music is part of meme.
Nah, you get it's a verb. You got ether. People say, man, you got ether, bro.
Like Stan.
Yeah, Labs, exactly. Everyone says, no, you're a Stan for that.
Fucking Stan.
Off of some hip hop shit. Yeah, Nas. You know what song I didn't think get enough love was the song The Blueprint 2 on the Blueprint 2, or that Just Blaze beat where he's like when the what did he say? When the grass is cut, the snakes will show. Gotta thank the little homie Nas for that though. Just cause he wears a kufi, it don't mean that he right. Is it Uchi Wally Wally or is it one mic? Is it Black Girl Lost or the shorty owe you for ice? No one talked about that because the battle was already won by Nas. It was over.
What's funny is, so, like, right, my favorite Nas verse, like, all my homies, obviously, if you like Jay-Z.
Nas my favorite rapper ever. MC ever.
That's crazy.
It's Nas.
That's dope. But if you're a Jay-Z fan, naturally, Nas fans literally
they clash. I love both. Yeah. But I was on that side where I was like, man, fuck Jay-Z.
So it's a riff. So as a whole fan, right, as a D-Boy and Nas fans, I remember, right, you know, we would be talking shit. To this day, as much as even I've grown to appreciate, I've always liked Nas, you know, as a rapper. I thought Illmatic was overrated. I thought
You're crazy.
it's not. It's just the shadiest one for New York.
Greatest rap.
It's just
this greatest rap album ever.
I'm not even mad if that's what you feel, right? But I'm just saying it was super, you know, a regional idea that became bigger. But over the time, right, my favorite Nas shit, We Made You, the verse on Kanye record, right? Even now, right, listening to him now with Hit, like put on Hit and do shit for Hit, right? It's amazing. But I find myself still teasing my homies. Like I'm like, yeah, Lil Nas X got Nas' name. It's funny, right, how that shit never dies. You still be teasing your homies like, yeah, this is the new Nas. You know niggas be high.
Shout out to
Nas Dampty.
Nas is my favorite, man. Nas is my favorite MC and Kanye is my favorite artist.
Kanye is just unbelievable, completely.
Just discography. I don't know.
Fuck the music. Everything he does, man. I'm motherfucker just an animal.
He's an animal, man.
Shit.
He is an animal. I think I was just not a fan of the Jesus is King album outside of that. But I'm also, we discussed. I'm an atheist. I'm not into the God shit.
You hate anything that got spiritual.
I don't hate anything. I just was like, man, this is just forcing it down. I guess it's kind of like the little. For me, it was like.
Did you like Jesus Walks?
Yeah, but it was one song on an album.
Jamming. So you saying the album wasn't jamming?
Nah, it wasn't. There were some beats on it that were crazy. Shout out to the homie Boogs. But the whole album.
Sure, it wasn't jamming.
It was
That's
Jesus
fair.
Walks.
That's fair to say. It wasn't Jesus. Don't do that.
No.
Jesus Walks is Jesus.
I'm talking
Walks.
about subject matter wise.
But Jesus Walks still is a jamming ass.
It's one of the best Kanye songs.
Satan is probably playing Jesus Walks.
Right.
Satan probably was in hell.
Yeah,
like
Jesus Walks was a fucking banger, right?
Yeah.
And it was one song on a song of 1921 records, whatever college dropout was. Yeah. It was like one out of that much. Jesus is King was like super unfocused. Kanye. He was not focused, and it was like I thought that all the fucking the shit he was doing with all the choir and all that shit was corny.
I like that. I don't think it was corny. Was it corny?
I thought that shit was...
Kanye has always been a spiritual person.
No, I don't disagree. I just thought that shit was very it didn't feel genuine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just felt like
I think he was in a weird place, and I think he was going through a lot.
For sure.
People that wasn't talking
personally, he's been going through a lot mentally.
Yeah.
I
think he had to kind of get spiritually centered.
Listen,
and
I forgive Kanye for all kinds of fuckery, and I forgive him for the Jesus. Kanye is my favorite artist ever. Like I love Kanye. I can't wait for Donda to come out. I just hope it does not disappoint. I don't think it will.
How could it live up to these expectations?
I think it's gonna. For me, I think it will. I just need a competent Kanye album and I'll be happy.
I'll be honest with you. Kanye could do everything right now. And
Kanye's probably the only rapper ever who can just do whatever the fuck he wants.
I just like Ye, bro. Whatever Ye gonna do, cause I'm fucking with it.
That's fair.
I think it's always from a genuine place. Has Kanye been corny? I don't really think Kanye. I don't think he does things without soul.
No, I don't think Kanye's corny.
Yeah.
No, I just said for me, I just thought that the
sure. I remember
the choir
that.
thing to me it
That's
just
one
didn't
thing.
feel genuine.
I have to go to a Kanye concert. I've never been to a Kanye.
I've been to every tour except the Pablo tour because the date I was supposed to go to, he canceled.
I might get him to come perform at my birthday party.
I've been to all the Kanye tours.
Kanye perform.
The best show I ever been to was the Yeezus tour. He had a mountain on stage.
I heard about that. Have Kanye perform at my birthday party. That's what I might do.
Where's this going to be at?
I don't know. To be at like at a house, small house. He could rock like 30 people. Go old school. Feel me? That would be like crazy.
Let's get to it. Hey, I'll be there. Just give me my invite, man. All right. Hey, well, look, man. G Malone, plug the podcast.
No Ceilings, Black Effect Network, C Network.
Why don't you do video?
Because I wasn't comfortable with where I was at speaking. Now we just finna get into it.
Okay, because I feel like it'd be much bigger with the video aspect.
But I had to get good at it versus rushing. Like I think a lot of rappers rush into it and then that's why they struggle. So I just wanted to get good at it first.
So you feel comfortable now. So we're gonna start because I feel like the visual aspect of podcast is just as important.
Yeah,
and it's gonna take it to that level, man.
Yeah, No Ceilings. It's available everywhere you listen to podcasts. It's all about conversations with pariahs in our community and polarizing topics and really running into the fire instead of leaving everybody in the house burning. We're just trying to run into the fire to rescue as many people as we can instead of just walking by taking a picture of a burning house. That's what No Ceilings is.
So go get that. And then there's
music
some new
every
music
week.
out.
Every week. Feel me?
So you're putting out a song every week?
No, I'm saying I wish. No, I'm dropping music. I'm saying every week. I'm speeding it up to every week. Right now, I've dropped 3 songs. I've dropped
record with Snoop and Ice-T.
Snoop and Ice-T and Ty, right? And then I dropped a song with Game and Corrupt. And now the next song is with 40 and Exhibit.
Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. So you're really just legendary features only here.
Man, for years we wanted to be a part of the West Coast, and we felt like they wasn't. So now that the opportunity is present, I'm finally getting it done.
What was the Ice-T call like?
That was in person.
Oh,
that was amazing.
Because Ice-T's on another. He's in another world right now.
Ice-T and Snoop are as advertised.
Ice-T is a legend on TV now. Ice-T
and Snoop are as advertised. Those are not characters. There's no other body else there. A lot of rappers, 99% of the rappers.
Shout out to Ice-T. He's turned into a great Arizona citizen now.
Yeah.
He lives out in. I think he lives in Chandler.
Ice-T is.
We're claiming him now in Phoenix.
Yeah, as you should. Ice-T is as advertised. Yeah. He's exactly what it is.
Corrupt.
What you think
corrupt
he is,
too, man.
He's there.
Corrupt. Corrupt up here.
Snoop is that. Ice-T is that. Those two guys are as advertised.
Besides Dubsy's the shadiest one.
Yeah.
Because I think you would.
It's my favorite album.
Would you say it's the most slept on hip hop album from the West Coast ever?
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. Oh no, I wouldn't say it's the most slept on. I would probably leave that for Street Gospel.
I was gonna say Streets is a Mother, and or 40 Days, 40 Nights.
40 Days, 40 Nights is super nasty. But Streets, I think how much the West reveres Street Gospel, that's why. Like Streets is a Mother is pretty remarkably close, but Corrupt was already a successful artist.
Yeah.
So, but Street Gospel, Sugar Free, like
that's
I don't
fair.
think the world knows.
Yeah,
what
I don't
that
think. I
means
also don't
to
think
us.
like people understand how much influence Sugar Free had.
Yeah.
Just on everywhere.
Yeah.
Not just here.
But I'm saying, so I think that album will be the most underrated.
And he comes as advertised.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's the real deal.
Yeah, I saw him walking a bitch on a leash at Vegas.
Yeah, it's the real deal. But the thing about the shadiest one is what Illmatic is to New York.
Okay.
It's very much.
Dubsy's my probably when West Side Connection was like when Bow Down came out, Dubsy was my favorite. I just thought Dubsy could out-rap anybody from LA at the time.
That was fucking nasty, bro.
And just his little aneurysm, skip, connect,
minus all of that. When I hear Illmatic, that's what I hear the shadiest. When I hear this super deep dive into true culture, like Queensbridge culture.
And Dubsy was doing shit with like Gangstar. He was on the
But before that, I'm talking about on the shadiest one.
No, that was way before that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about on the shadiest one where he dives into LA culture, probably greater than anybody ever had sonically and also like lyrically. Like the lingo he was using, what he talked about. He talked about the house part. He talked about all of the lifestyles and situations. It was like that's our Illmatic. You know what I mean? And I'm sad that other people, huh?
I mean, I've never heard that besides from you.
Yeah. It's our Illmatic.
Okay.
The way we just don't have as much sway over the media, as obviously the creators of the actual fucking genre as they should. But that's our Illmatic.
Okay.
The shadiest one is our Illmatic.
All right, last question. 2001 or The Chronic?
2001.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, I barely fucking knew what Doggy Style was about. I have to go back and consume Doggy Style and The Chronic. I heard them, right? And
I think 2001 has way better replay value now.
But personally, for me, it's 2001. But when you just talking about sheer greatness, The Chronic is the father.
No, for sure. The Chronic birthed everybody's shit. But I just think like if I'm listening,
I'm gonna play 2001.
2001.
Yeah.
All right, yo, G Malone, go check out the No Ceilings podcast everywhere. Hopefully, be on YouTube soon.
Yeah, Google me.
Googleable.
Yep.
New
and
music
everywhere. Just go to my Spotify page. It's good stuff.
And go support. And shout out to 7-Eleven. This I haven't seen a big Gold Cup this big since I was about 9.
100 ounces of water cold.
Oh shit.